Welcome to the Black Ink Podcast. Today's guest is Carmelo of ENM Electrical. We touch on heaps of interesting points, talk about family, business, life, masculinity, love, hope, loss, dealing with conflict, all sorts. You're going to love it. Do me a favor, if you're not already subscribed on whichever platform you consume this podcast on, whether it's Spotify, Apple, YouTube, Deezer, jump on, subscribe, like, comment on my posts, share my stuff with people that you love who you think would enjoy the podcast. Get on all my socials and smash me with interaction because it really does help. And I'm just trying to continue growing this podcast for you so I can keep on having more meaningful conversations with very interesting people so we can all learn, grow, and have beautiful lives. So subscribe, like, comment, do the stuff. I really appreciate it. And don't forget, today's podcast proudly brought to you by Outfit Co, Bunbury's absolute industry leader in uniform supply and print. So if you have your business, team, group, anything that needs merch or uniforms supplied and printed, talk to me today and we'll get you sorted. Now, into the podcast with Carmelo. Yeah. I'll come to life during this podcast, eh?
Yeah? Sweet. It's going to be wicked.
But yeah, I've had the leads and offers on the table for the podcast for the longest time, but they're both paperback. It's like you don't even take yourself seriously if you got paperbacks, right? No. But now I'm like, it's like my going to sleep tool is reading fucking Hormozy.
Oh, dude. And the hardbacks as well. Just make it feel better. Like you put that right in the fucking middle.
Yeah, dude, this is fucking crazy. If the conversation teeters off at all, I'll just start flicking through this and be like, tell me, what do you think? You've obviously read this like cover to cover.
No. I've got the video.
Oh.
Hence, yeah. So,
all of these books start with you should listen to this while you're reading it, hey?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did that for the Leeds book. It was different.
Yeah.
Fucking different experience. Like, hard to explain. Like, I'd done it ages ago, but listening for me and reading at the same time is just distraction.
Too much input.
Too much input. If you did the reading first, listen, then combine. But I'm more of a listener, to be honest. Like visual listening.
Yeah. There's something to reading. I am too. And also I'm a big I would rather make the mistake myself and learn from it. There's something so I don't know. It's not false or anything. I think it's more just like when someone tells you, you almost want to prove them wrong that they're not correct about it. But then I find that in business you fuck up, you learn, you trip over forwards. That's why you're still doing it. Because if you trip over and stay down, you're not in business. You're just someone who tried to do something right.
Yeah.
But you learn these things and a lot of the times I feel like you learn the same lessons. We all learn the same lessons just in different experiences and different sort of situations. And books like these are just those lessons compacted down into the least amount of information possible just so you can digest it.
100%.
And there's something about reading those lessons that I find that if I get over that egotistical thing of nah, they're not right, I'm right, and I can just take it on board, reading it seems to be the most effective way of taking that information on.
Yeah.
For me.
For you, yeah.
As a non-reader.
Yeah, yeah.
Which is weird, you know? You sort of spin my tires there a little bit.
With the reading aspect, for me, what I struggle with is time to sit, and then B, when I sit still, my mind is still running 100 miles an hour. So I find it, I can be looking at a page. I've probably got ADHD.
Yeah.
Undiagnosed, of course.
Yeah,
self-proclaimed.
Yeah.
But
yeah, aren't we all though?
I'll be looking at the page and I'll be reading the same line 5 times.
Yeah.
Whereas I don't know what it is about, say, driving and listening to something as well. The movement for me, as well as listening, it feels like I'm running 100 miles an hour, but I'm not.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
So driving, flying, on a bus.
Yeah, yeah. Just something where there's some sort of movement.
Some sort of movement, but my body is still. It's almost like my thoughts are still moving as well with the movement of the car, plane, whatever.
Do you find that when you're working, if you've got a podcast on in the background, you do better, you perform better?
Sometimes.
Yeah.
But then what will happen is I'll just stop working and listen.
Yeah, okay.
So it's...
Yeah, catch-22.
Catch-22. When I'm in a flow of work, it's fucking shutters on.
Yeah.
Nothing else. No music. Even Leanna will be like, "Hey, you ready for lunch?"
Yeah.
I'm not hearing it. I'm just looking at the computer dead on. Just fucking, okay, this is what I got to do. A B.
Yeah.
Just ones and zeros in my brain.
Interesting. So do you go for drives? Like leisurely drives?
No, but I've thought I should.
Dude, that's like that's like one of the biggest what would you call it? That's like the fabric of our relationship is built on drives. We go for drives, we talk about stuff because I feel like it's the one time, because driving takes so much like concentration and responsibility of like, I need to not die and I need to protect her, and I've got Louie in the car, I need to protect her as well.
Yeah.
So it's like that sort of like fuck around class clown part of my head is like, shh, we need to do this properly. Yeah. And then that 20% left, which is like, if you work on the 80-20 rule, like the 80% of me is a class clown trying to like distract people and like not do, and like, you know, that the other 20% is like the really powerful part that is like the entrepreneur, the business owner, the podcaster, the fill in the gaps. And I feel like giving that 20%, like if I sit down to have a serious conversation, like you're sitting at the table and like you're making eye contact, and I'm like playing with the tablecloth, and I'm like, maybe my phone or something, and the dog comes up and I'm paying the dog, and I don't give her that full concentration that she deserves. But then when I'm in the car, man, it's like same thing, because there's things moving past me. It's almost like I can then dive right into this thing that we're talking about.
Yeah.
And then like really give what I feel about it and really hear what she has to say about it. And then you have that actual art of conversation.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And then you realize, fuck, I'm still driving.
Still driving, yeah.
But you're just like engrossed in the whole conversation.
Dude, this is the reason I have fucking playing cards on the table. And if you go back and watch all the podcasts, I'm always playing with shit throughout the podcast, because I need that 80% fuck around part of me to have something to
moving?
do.
Yeah.
It's such a, and it's funny, you know, like I find to you know, anecdotally categorize the style or the type of person that you and I are, which is like, we're under 40, we're in business, we're very ambitious. Like we were joking about it just before we press record. Now we're very ambitious. We set these goals that it's like, fuck, I probably can't achieve it, but imagine if I did, right?
Yeah.
And if I don't achieve all of it and I only get 3/4 of it, that's still crazy.
Yeah.
Right.
100%.
The consistency with people like that, and I find that even in my friends group, the boys who don't have businesses, they all have that same thing, and it's the same, like probably undiagnosed ADD. There's some sort of like the inability to read seems to be very constant as well. And like that idea, that the idea of movement or having two things going on at once to be able to achieve one thing really well seems to be consistent. Like there's something there.
Yeah, it's definitely, there's a certain drive there as well in their character, whether that's been implanted as in from like their family members, mum, dad.
Yep.
That, yeah, it's interesting because you can see it in, at least I can. I can see, and you probably can as well, when you're having conversations with people where you're like, he's got a bit of something in him.
Dude, it's aura.
Yeah.
Like aura has been, like the word like manifesting has been like completely fucked by this new generation, like aura farming. Like, dude, if you're saying that, you don't have aura at all. Like, exactly. You know, but you can tell the dudes who have, and ladies for sure, like there's definitely some, like Ash Atkinson, right, of the Climb Collaborative. She builds websites.
Yes,
and
I should fucking know.
Dude,
she's done mine.
You talk to her for like 45 seconds. You're like, oh, you're one of us.
Yeah.
You know, you might be more one of us than I am, actually.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, obviously it's very, I think it's almost, if guys don't have it, there's always like a sort of thing in their gut they wish they did. I don't think females really have that, but I think females who do have it, they seem to be able to so organically like embody what it is as well. That makes sense?
Yeah. Sometimes I feel like the women are better when they've got that trait than some of the guys, because they're, I don't know, in my experience anyway, say like my partner, she's doing her own thing.
Yep.
She's got that real ambitious side to her as well. Like she's running a PT business and that. And see, that's kind of something that we both love talking about business, and then the conversations that we have around business, I feel like I can't have that with other guys.
Yeah.
It might be just the age thing as well, because I'm at 25.
Yeah.
So I feel like my friend group around that age, they're not thinking about that sort of thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, that sort of branches into the area of like, as you go through these different seasons in life, and right now you're in a very like grow/build. And also, like, you're in your mid-20s, you're trying to, like, really figure out, like, who is Carmelo? I'm trying to understand who I am and where I fit in. And as you go into these, like, you know, parts of your life where you're like, well, I want to be a businessman. I don't want to just be an electrician. I want to be a businessman. I want to build a business that I can stand back. It somewhat operates by itself. I don't know what your goals are, but I'm going to generalize. This is what I want to do. And when you start doing that, with that same, like, ambitious, competitive, I would almost call it like guardrails on like sort of vision. You're like, well, that's all I care about. You know, like 100%. I will read this book cover to cover because this adds to what I'm trying to do. So then when you talk to someone else who 90% of the conversation, sometimes 100% of the conversation has nothing to do with what you're trying to achieve.
Yeah.
You're like, well, what are we doing?
Yeah. There's no value here.
Yeah. What are we doing? And also the shit that you're talking about with that person or the shit that they're talking to you about, like, doesn't even like revolve around the same universe that you're trying to live in.
Yeah.
So then it's not even like you go like, oh, I'm going to stop hanging out with that person. Your subconscious just goes, there's no value there, you know? Okay. And also that's not to say there's no value in that person at all.
Yes.
They need to find their crowd. And your crowd, you'll probably find, and I've found this, is like, typically it's people who are ambitious, older than me, have achieved more than what I've achieved, have more money in their bank account, because by osmosis, I'm going like, that's who I want to be like. Correct. I'm going to hang around with them because they're very, very interesting when I'm hanging around them.
Correct. Yeah.
So then when you're like that and she's like that, then it's very easy to accidentally talk about business 95% of the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%. And so easy then to just cut everything else that's not that out as well, especially when you've got that inner partner as well. You don't need to go searching for it in other areas. However, you know, like you say, if you want to get to higher levels, then you do need to go seek the people that are at those higher levels, because in between us, we're only at a certain level and we only know what we know and we don't know what we don't know. That's right.
And so you probably find that going back to the females who do have that spirit tend to do it better than males. It's probably because they don't have as much ego attached to what they don't know.
Yes.
Like I find that I constantly like this skill of going like, I'm the dumbest person in the room. I'm the dumbest person in the room. I have to repeat that to myself.
Yep.
You know, when you walk in somewhere, it's like, oh, you're Black Ink, you're the podcast, you're the man, you're not shit.
Yeah.
You're not shit. Just go in and learn, you know, and ask questions. And if someone says something that you don't know what it is, oh, what's that? You know, like be excited to be the person who doesn't have ego.
Yeah.
And you think you get good at it, and then as soon as you think you're good at it, you have to start from the start again, and you're like, oh, fuck, I'm the dumbest person in the room. Come on, you know?
Yeah.
Where maybe females, I don't know. From what I think
you've hit the nail on the head with the ego thing. I think that's something I wasted, like I'd say the first 2 years of my business. But in saying that, looking back, I think I did need a bit of that ego to get into places that you probably wouldn't normally get.
Yeah.
To be like, you know, I am the shit. I do not deserve.
Deserve a chance at least.
Yeah, it's like I've earned my place to be here.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. So it's got its place. Everything's got its place. But yeah, I think, you hit the nail on the head in terms of the ego, them being more willing to learn.
Yeah.
To be like, hey, I don't know. I'm just going to seek the answer sooner rather than, you know, try and figure it out on my own.
Yeah. Is there not a threshold though of like, because obviously like you have to have an ego to say to your boss like, oh, I'm going to go do my own thing. Yeah. And your boss is like, okay.
Exactly. Yeah.
Cool, man.
Yeah.
Go do that.
Yeah. I'll see you in 6 months.
Right. Yeah. So you got to have an ego to leave. You got to have an ego to like get your ABN and business name and insurance and got to buy your tools, and you're realizing the boss actually had heaps more figured out that I didn't realize.
Yeah.
And all, by the way, at that point, you're still just scratching the surface. You have no idea.
Fucking know.
Right?
Yeah.
So you go, you know, month number 2, then you go month number 6. Now you've got uniforms. Now you got a bit of a process. Now you're starting to figure out like, oh, I was way undercharging over here and I'm way overcharging it. All the stuff that you go through,
100%.
right? And then you get to a certain point where you're like, all right, I've got a year or 2 trading.
Yeah.
You know I've got a customer base. I've made a couple fuck ups. I've made some really good wins. I've got really good results for some people. You've got enough there where you go like, all right, do I stay here and plateau or do I keep growing?
Yeah.
Right. And like speaking to people on all stages of answering that question, you got people like Dave Faulkner, who's growing a powerhouse.
Hectic. Yeah.
Right. And you just like,
brilliant work.
Does he feel like he's the man when he goes to bed at night, or does he feel like he's got something to learn every morning?
It'd be learning.
It'd be learning. You have to, because
you
can't get to that stage and be like, yeah, I'm the man. It's like, well, there is always going to be someone bigger than you.
Always.
And they're looking at you going like, well, you're still making these mistakes. You're actually not the man yet.
Yeah.
Right. So I think there is definitely, and like I experience this push-pull, I would say daily.
Yeah.
Like, cool. I've been in business in quotations for like 10 years. But like as far as like Black Ink being a coffee van, and then the reiteration here, and then Outfit Co.
Yeah.
And dude, you go like, is it year number 3 or 5 where you're like, I've been pulling a wage, the house is nice, we're comfortable, there's food in the fridge, we can fuel up our car. You know what I mean? Like the fuel going up $1 a litre doesn't concern me.
Yeah.
Right. So like, would you say at this point I'm at the thing where I can go like, oh, okay, well, I haven't made it, but I'm really close to what making it would be to other people, because I still wake up every day like, what am I doing?
Yeah, 100%. But I feel like if you wake up and go, I'm comfortable where I'm at, for me, it's dangerous. Because for me, my highest value, like for my purpose of my life that I've found, is growth. I'm always chasing growth.
Right.
Whether it's personal, business, health.
Right.
If I'm not growing, I'm dying and I'm fucking hating life.
Yeah.
So for me, it's dangerous to wake up and be like, I'm comfortable. Not always a good thing, but because you do need time to say stop and smell the roses, to look back and go, fuck, I've actually built something here.
Yeah.
I'm supporting people with it. I'm supporting families. But yeah, for me, it's dangerous to wake up and go, I'm comfortable.
Yeah, I think also it's like the work-life balance conversation, right?
Yeah.
People talk about work-life balance all the time. That's usually someone who doesn't have a business.
100%.
You really got to take time to like recover. Like, bro, I'm trying not to die. Like, that's what this feels like.
Yeah.
Like as much as like, yeah, everything's all good. I've got a good customer base. We've got turnover. We've got cash flow. Like it's fine. Not like life is not going to stop. Yeah. It's like, yeah, but I feel like I'm a warrior. And I'm in the field and I'm slaying the other side every day. I wake up and try and deliver the best possible thing I can in my business. So that idea of like stopping and smelling the roses is like the concept of potential atrophy because you wanted a break. Dude, fuck you.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Like I will rest when my body doesn't work anymore.
Yeah. But then the other thing as well is like when you're doing something that you love, say like growth, and you know that you're like, fuck yeah, this is what I live for. Why would you want to take a break from that? That's
right. Don't get me wrong. I'm contradicting my own like ethos here. I do exercise Sunday. Right?
Oh yeah.
Like Sunday's important, and also like given the situation that I'm in with this thing, like if it hits 1 o'clock and I'm tired, believe I close the laptop and I sleep on the couch.
Yeah.
For as long as it takes.
Yeah. No, I'm not saying that as well. Yeah, you do need your rest. But I'm saying, like, going back to the work-life balance thing, it's bullshit. Because if no one is ever fully balanced, you're either on one side or the other.
Yeah.
More. Even though it might only be slight, you're never perfectly balanced. You're chasing equilibrium. I think that's what it's called.
Yeah.
Equilibrium?
Yeah.
Homeostasis or something like that, where you're trying to get back to that middle state, but yeah, you're never perfect.
Yeah, I feel like You've had a job before? You work for someone?
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, and was it like a Monday to Friday type gig?
Yeah.
Right. And you have smoko and lunch?
Yeah.
Cool. You knock off early on Friday.
But yeah.
Right.
Boring.
Sometimes half the day, Saturday. Like if you add up all of those hours and then the time that you spend sleeping and then the time you spend, if you take into account how much time it took you to get your trade as well, like the work-life balance there is completely like out of whack anyway.
Exactly.
And I feel like that's where you get people feeling like, well, I'm going to rock up, I get paid the same amount whether I would give 50% or 100%. I'm going to give 50%. And that's sort of your subconscious going like, well, I'm going to find a balance of like, I've got to do this for 70 years.
Yeah.
I'm going to go at this pace.
Yeah.
Some
people can do it. We're obviously not one of them.
Oh, man. And again, I think nothing relates more to what you said before, like you feel like you're dying if you're not growing.
Yeah.
I remember sitting in a truck for like the 11th hour of a 12-hour shift and I'm like, I'm literally dying.
Yeah.
And you take into account all the little, like I was smoking cigarettes when I was driving trucks. So it's like you're stationary, eating constantly, smoking cigarettes, doing night shift. It's like, what part of this is good for me? You're making good money? Dude, who cares?
Yeah, it doesn't.
If I'm making money while I die, it doesn't matter.
Exactly.
You know?
100%. Yeah. It's like, what the fuck am I doing here?
Yeah. And then you fall into the trap of, well, if I'm doing all of this just for money, then I should have things that I feel like I deserve. I should be able to drive to work in a nice car.
Yeah.
So then you get yourself in debt. So now you've got an obligation to drive the truck, to pay for the car.
Yep.
It's because you feel, oh my
Yeah.
God.
And the cycle just continues.
And it continues. Yeah. Yeah. And then, the story that I always tell on the podcast is you fall in love and then you're both doing it together, and then you barely see each other.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden now you're both driving nice cars at an average house, working jobs you don't like. You're probably falling out of love over time because you don't see each other anymore and you just fucking end up hating your life.
Yeah. 100%.
Dude, what is that?
Yeah. Fuck, I don't know.
I would much rather work 20 hours a day for myself.
Yeah.
And go through that constant thing of like, am I doing the right thing? Am I pushing the right direction? Am I answering the right questions? Am I, you know what I mean? Then
just constantly eating glass and fucking getting kicked in the nuts every day. But at least it's like,
dude,
fucking, I love it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Learn to love it.
Yeah, 100%. So how long have you been in business now?
I was looking at this the other day because I was like, fuck, how long have I actually been? So I registered the business in 2021.
Okay.
May, but I didn't actually start operating it till I feel like April 22.
Oh, okay.
So what's that? 4.
Yeah, so you'd be 4 years,
4 years
next month.
Yep.
Wow. And you've grown from a one-man operation to a 3-person team?
We've got 4 people.
Wow.
Yeah, so 2 workers and we've got HR and admin.
Wow.
Which, when people hear HR, they're like, HR for fucking 2 people, what the fuck's going on there?
Yeah.
But they do more than like HR. They take like all our safety shit.
Oh, okay. Cool,
dealing
cool.
with new customers, onboarding them.
Yeah.
They do all the hiring and stuff like. When I say hiring, as in like the sourcing, so they go put the ads out.
Yeah, okay.
Recruit people, and then I still do the interviews.
So that means that if you've got someone, so you're 4 people, and obviously that's you've got 2 operators, and then HR. Is that what you said? No, you've got you and an operator.
Yeah,
HR.
so in terms of tradies doing the work, me, Dylan.
Yep.
Then HR admin.
Yeah, okay. So that would mean that you are looking at expanding way beyond you and Dylan.
100%.
So you're getting ahead of yourself as far as like organizational sort of foundation. Correct. So that as you do grow, you've already got those things in place.
Yeah.
Okay. So the first question is, how do you afford to make a decision like that?
Define afford. What do you mean by afford to make a decision like that?
So you're paying someone in HR at the moment who doesn't bring in any revenue.
Yeah.
Right? You've got 2 operators. Now, I know there's money to be made in the electrical field.
Yeah.
So if you're paying someone who doesn't generate any revenue, I understand they do in a way because they're creating time for you in other places.
Yep.
But at the moment, that's like such an ambitious early hire. If you did, like if you had a team of say four people in the field who would spinning spanners, that starts to make sense.
Yeah. It's hard.
Yeah.
But I look at it like, for where I want to get to, I can't afford not to
Interesting.
have that.
Yeah.
So it's like, I look at it as value. So yes, I'm paying X amount of money
Yep.
per month for them. I feel like some people look at that as a cost, but I look at it, okay, well, what value am I getting out of that right now? What value, in terms of value right now, and then value that I'm going to get from it in the future? I'm going to obviously spend a lot more money up front that I probably can't afford right now, but I know it's going to set me up for scale.
Yeah.
For when I do, it's like I've already paid that up front.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
makes sense.
Interesting.
That's the way I look at it anyway.
Because okay. So I think the way you word it, then put it into a different perspective for me. You say you employ someone, you go, cool, this is a cost. You're employing someone as an investment into almost like a strategic sort of footpath for the future. Pathway,
Yep.
sorry. So you go, all right, I know I'm going to hire people in the future.
Yep.
I don't want to wait until I'm hiring 4 people at a time to then go, I also need to hire a HR person.
Yes.
And now I'm under a time constraint to make sure that that person can do the job at a basis.
Yes.
And hopefully they're good for the business as well culturally. They're good for the business as far as they're not going to fucking start and then go full time and then get pregnant or you know what I mean? Yeah.
And a lot of it is then, like you say, that they've got learning to do as well, like how we operate, how I operate, how I want the team to operate.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I look at it like I'd rather pay that money and pay that time now because when I need it and it's like crunch time, like I just want to be firing on all cylinders.
Wow, that's so fucking interesting, dude. So you've got a HR person in year 4
Yeah.
and that's your 4th hire.
It was actually my 3rd. So I got the HR team before I got the admin person.
And is a HR full-time?
It's like it is. So we talk through WhatsApp. I can send them a message anytime, say, hey.
Wait, is this HR person in Australia?
Yes. Yeah. They're
Okay.
New South Wales based over east.
Okay, cool.
So I've done that strategically as well. So that way it frees up, because obviously they're 3 hours ahead.
Yep.
So their start time is like, I think they get in at 9. So it's like 6 here.
Wow.
So I can get up, because I'm a morning person.
Yeah, you and I both.
Yeah, I'm up early.
Yeah, doing these ones at Barlow at 6:30.
Exactly. Yeah. So I'm up. I can say 4 o'clock, go to the gym. By the time I'm done, 6 o'clock, I could have a meeting if I need to.
Yep.
With them, say, hey, this is where we're going. Are we on track? So full time, I wouldn't say they're like full time, like I'm paying, say, like Dylan, who's working with me every day.
Yeah.
Sort of like that. But they are full time in a way.
Yep.
That makes kind of.
Yeah, no, it does.
How would you describe it?
Well,
how have I described it to you?
It feels like, in my mind, a picture that I'm painting is this person probably does something else with the rest of their day, but is at call between the hours of 9 and 5, Monday to Friday, their time.
Okay. Yeah, so I didn't explain that correctly then. So they are they're a third-party HR company.
Okay.
So they've got multiple people in their company that do HR. So I get a manager from that company, and then they're my one-on-one.
Wow.
So that way I go, say like for instance, I want swims. I want it in like a electronic format. So it's easier for the boys, easier for management, I just talk to my one-on-one, whoever's managing me.
Yep.
Then they go back, talk to their team, to the company, and go,
Oh,
right,
wow.
this is what he wants. Who do we need to find? Have we got someone to do it? Right.
Wow.
And then extrapolate that out to multiple different things.
Dude, that's fascinating having that sort of utility in your business.
Yeah.
It definitely would take, because obviously the thing that happens as a business owner when you grow is the requirements of you increase.
Yep.
You know, it's like all of a sudden now we've got to come up with a new process to handle conflict resolution, and then this happens over here. Now we've got to come up with a way to, and all of a sudden you're like, I'm an electrician.
Yep.
Like, what happened here? So being able to sort of delegate that out and doing it so early is definitely the part that's interesting to me, because you're like you're, if that's ringing on Do Not Disturb, does that mean that that's someone important?
Can't be that important.
Fuck them, right?
Yeah.
It's me and you now.
Yeah.
So that must mean that your, say, 12 months runway includes a fair amount of serious growth. Is that fair to say?
Yeah.
All right. So what do your short and long-term goals look like?
I'd probably write down the number for you.
Yeah.
But again, like we were saying before, it's pretty ambitious.
We like ambition around here. That's all right. Feels like a negotiation. Sliding numbers across the table.
Yeah, so that's what I'm aiming for.
And is that revenue?
Just rev.
Wow.
Yeah. So, yeah, by November this year. But again, sounds bad to say because it's almost like I don't believe in it, but it's like I'm fully expecting not to hit that. But if I fall below that,
Still crazy.
Still crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's wild. And is that for just this year?
Just this year. Yes.
So starting from January till then, fuck, that's crazy. So that's not even a full year. All right. So that's interesting. We're on track to do $500,000 in rev this financial year.
Hectic.
2 people from home.
Hectic.
It's nuts.
Nice.
Doing one shirt at a time, baby.
Yeah, fucking know.
So that's fucking crazy. So is that attainable, do you think? Like, obviously there's a universe where that's possible.
Yeah, 100%.
Interesting. And does that include hiring more people between now and then?
Yep.
Right. Do you know how many people you would have to hire to do that?
12.
12 people.
To get more than that.
Wow.
But
okay.
I'm aiming for, when the time comes, to be getting at least one new person a month for the next 12 months.
Oh, that's not that crazy then.
No, exactly. When you put it like that, it's not.
And if you put the groundwork in with a HR person, oh, Carmelo. Oh, that's so good. Yeah. All right. So did you do sports as a kid?
Surprisingly, no. I got to play basketball for 2 seasons when I was in school. But other than that, I was working. Right.
And obviously, you're Italian.
Yep.
And do you have a massive family of Italians like everyone does in this town?
Yeah, not in this town. Yep. Perth originally. I was
really?
Born in Perth and then moved to Bunbury. I can't remember how old I was, but it'd be like year 3, when you're in year 3 in school.
Okay.
Moved to Bunbury.
And what school did you go to here?
St. Joe's and then to BC.
Okay. And you're 25, so you were born in like 2000, 2001?
2000.
That's nuts.
Yeah.
Bro, I'm fucking born in 92. I'm like your granddad, eh?
Yeah, I know. I'm like a fucking baby.
That's nuts. All right. So, yeah, because I went to St. Joe's, got kicked out of BCC in year 10.
Yeah,
so
boy.
Told me I never meant to be anything. What's up?
Yeah.
Those cunts still teaching, by the way.
Yeah.
So, all right. Interesting. So, you don't have any family down here?
No. Just obviously mum and dad. But yeah.
And you're an only child?
No. I've got 5 other brothers and sisters.
Oh, yeah. A few of us. Where do you fit in the
middle? So
okay.
So I've got an older brother, an older sister.
Yeah.
And then it's me, 2 younger sisters, younger brother.
Okay.
Yeah.
And is anyone else in business?
Dad. Yeah, Dad is. Dad's probably been my biggest inspiration, biggest role model, I'd say, for when it comes to the business stuff, because as long as I've been alive, he's always been working for himself.
Yeah, cool.
So,
and what industry is he in?
He's in the olive oil industry.
Okay.
So we do. Can't get more Italian.
Yeah, no, I was going to say, I could have guessed that actually.
Yeah, could have guessed it. But yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, so that's a interesting one. I love it.
Yeah.
Good industry.
And do you feel there was I don't know much about I've actually learned a lot about like Italians in the past 12 months, would you believe? Because I'm starting to realize like everyone's at least part Italian and everyone has grown up at in each other's backyard and knows everyone and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But what's the like environment like growing up when dad's in business? Is it I'm going to grow up to do something like that, or did that sentiment come later, do you think?
I think I always knew.
Interesting.
Yeah, I think I always knew.
Yeah.
Because even in school, I was good at school.
Yeah.
But I left year 10 because I was like, it's a fucking waste of time.
Yeah.
For me, anyway. For me, I felt school was a pretty big waste of time. I was like, I just want to start making some money.
Yeah.
So.
And did you jump straight into an apprenticeship?
I did, yeah. I straight into an electrical apprenticeship.
Yeah, wow.
So I was very fortunate at the time because, what'd that be, 2016. I feel like that there wasn't a lot going around apprenticeship-wise in all trade industries, I believe.
Wow.
But, yeah, I was pretty fortunate to get an apprenticeship at that time, so grateful for that.
It blows my mind. I remember, obviously this is 100 years before you again, but like if you wanted to get an apprenticeship, you had to go and work with a bunch of blokes that were going to hang shit on you for like 6 months before you got an apprenticeship.
Yeah.
Like you'd sweep the floors, you go and buy the bullshit from the server. You did all of that, and then hopefully if you were cool enough, which was literally the metric that you were measured on, if you were cool enough and you fit in enough, like, we might give you we might employ you for 4 years for $6 an hour.
Yeah.
You know? And we'll see how you go. Now, dude, you can have shit stains on the back of your shirt and walk in and get an apprenticeship doing anything anywhere.
Yeah. Yeah, high demand.
It's crazy. And to have I wish I could go back and tell myself, like, dude, don't be a professional speed skater. That's not going to pay anything. Just do anything with your hands. You don't have to do it forever. Just do it in your 20s and just let that be your literal, like I use the word apprenticeship like frequently because I believe that I've only just exited my business apprenticeship where you do something for long enough that you fail and you do this, you have a win, you have a loss, you get in this community, you get in that community. That apprenticeship-esque of like you're just going through the trial by fire period, and if you survive, here's your trade. Yeah. And your trade is you're going to not die in a hard situation, right? So it's like going through that in an actual trade, in anything at that part of your life is just so bloody great. And the fact that at the end of it, you've also got a piece of paper that tells everyone else, I can do this thing.
Yeah.
And by the grace of God, you pick the one that pays the most amount of money, you know?
Yeah, but I mean, looking back, would you change anything?
No, because this fucking particular type of freak that I am now is because of all of those interesting choices that I made along the way, you know?
Exactly.
And it's like you really have to. I find that on reflection, I never know which one on. I find when I reflect.
In and on.
Yeah. I had to sort of go through that part of hating myself as a truck driver to get to where I am now. You know, like Riz has been real sick lately, right? So I've been doing a lot of the work, like 100% of the work for days. Like I haven't really had a weekend off up till this most recent one, which at the Bunbury Cup I definitely had off. But I haven't had a weekend off in like 3 weeks. And Riz and I were having a discussion late last week, and she's like, "Man, you know, I feel bad because I'm not able to help you, you know." And I'm like, "Yeah, but this shit's easy." She's like, "It's not. You know, you're saying that just so I don't feel bad." I'm like, "No. Going home after a 12-hour shift in a truck where your gut has got a little bit bigger and you're tired and you know you shouldn't be working night shift because it's bad for your circadian rhythm, it's bad for your whole bloody, it's throwing you off, and also driving truck sucks and you're trying to operate, 90 tons and trying not to kill other people on the road." Yeah. That is fucking hard.
Yeah, because you hate it.
Hating yourself is so much harder than this. Dude, I print T-shirts. How hard can I get?
Yeah.
You know, how hard can it actually get? Like if you're having a bad day, you need to step outside of yourself for a second and really fucking look at what's going on because it's not that hard.
Yeah. Couple of deep breaths, straight back into it.
You know? And like, I mean, I feel like I'm even more privileged than most people in business because I do the whole lot from home. You know, some people see that as a bit of a drawback, but it's like, dude, like I said, if I get really tired, I just lay down on the couch, I go to sleep.
Yeah.
It's fine. You know? So I think that, I don't know, to answer your question, like, would I change it? You would only change it so that the position that you're in right now is even better than what you're in.
Yeah.
But I think also it's doesn't really matter where you're at in your life as far as age, progress, whatever it is. As long as you're making some sort of like progress and you are in a state of evolution, then it's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, 100%.
And you just wish that, like, I look at you at 25, looking where you're at, trying to hit this by that date, and you're like, if you do that, dude, do you know how much further ahead you are than me at 25 right now? Yeah. Like, it's hard to. Sorry, I keep cutting you off.
No, it's good. It's because I'm just thinking as you're talking, because my brain goes 100 miles an hour, and it's got probably like 5 thoughts backed up.
Yeah.
You know, they just fucking forget. You're just like, fuck, next one.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's pretty ambitious, but I don't know. That comparison thing as well can be dangerous in a way. Like, is that saying that comparison is a thief of joy and all that. But I think I'm just doing it for me.
Yeah.
Like, that's just what like I said, I value growth. And that number, it's just a number. I look at it. It's, I guess what I'm chasing with that is to, like, I've grown, because I know that there's going to need to be a lot of growth that happens to me as an individual to hit that.
Oh, for sure.
And that lights a fire under my ass.
Yeah.
Like, fuck yeah. That gets me up every day.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, I must admit, having that, do you do much as far as like vision boards, manifestation, that sort of thing?
No, but I have started journaling, like literally probably like maybe 20 days now.
Wow.
Of journaling.
And what have you got so far from journaling?
Just understanding my thought processes, how I think, the loops, stories I tell myself.
Yeah.
Sometimes I just use it as a brain dump just to get shit out of my head. But which has been different. Like, I've always looked at journaling like, oh, it's fucking gay. Who needs to do that? But
no, it's super powerful. It's very gay, but it's also very powerful.
Very powerful as I've come to learn and understand it more. Like, just the understandings that you get from yourself and writing it down too physically. It's like a literal brain dump, and then you see it visually. It's just like, you kind of challenge the thoughts that you have. Like, okay, like, for example, say there's fucking something negative on there that you're telling yourself. You look at it and you're like, why am I thinking that is so terrible? Yeah. Because on like, I'm sure if you looked at it for long enough, you'd find a positive in there. Whether it's a learning or just a different perspective in that thought process, and then that has created some changes for me. Yeah. So I found that super helpful. But in terms of, say, like your vision boards and that, I wouldn't say I put it on a board. It's in my head. Yeah.
Yeah, well, there's so much to unpack here. The commitment of writing something to a page is literally crazy when you go your whole life just committing things to spoken word or the internet. Yep. Right, like an email or a post or whatever it might be. When you actually hand write something down, and especially if it's like a goal or if it's a feeling, or sometimes I find it's like an exaggerated long-term feeling of like, man, I'm going through this season of pain, growth, whatever it is, and just writing about it and going like, oh, that's actually how I feel. Yeah. Or that's not actually how I feel. Why am I writing that? Yeah. You know?
Yeah, like an example for me, a big one that's been coming up lately is frustration. Has been coming up a lot within the past 20 days. Yeah. And I've looked at it like, all right, let's unpack it. What is the frustration? Yeah. Okay, things aren't going right. I'm not hitting the little goals that I've set for myself. Yeah. But it's not actually... The pain isn't frustration. That pain is growth. Yeah. That's how I've come to understand it. It's like, okay, I'm feeling pain and I'm labeling it frustration. Yeah. But it's not. I'm actually still living within my value there. That pain is growth. Yeah. And so now when I look at it, it's just like I'm still living within my values and I'm still living my dream life.
Yeah.
just from analysing it, because it's like, I'm fucking frustrated from doing this. Didn't do this. Didn't get to meet with this person. I said I was going to meet with them. Okay, but the reason as to why there was other growth happening for me to not be able to meet that one.
Yeah.
So it's just like, okay, it's just growth.
Yeah. Yeah. We could go down that path as well, because I find that's very interesting. Something that I have to constantly learn is, you go through these at the start. It feels like it happens so rarely that you're building your business, you're doing what you do. The daily thing turns into your churn, and then every 6 months something happens. Someone suggests something, and you're like, oh, we'll do this instead of that, and you do it, and it makes a big difference. You make more money, things are easy. You're like, great. 4 months later, someone says something, or you hear a podcast, and you make that change, and you go, oh, now it's heaps easier again. And then fast forward that process, expedite it over a shorter period of time every time as well, and it compounds to literally you can have a great idea once a week that completely revolutionizes your business, right? And in those great ideas, you come to expect them. And sometimes they don't arrive. And you go, no, we're meant to be doing better again, but we're not doing better again. We just plateaued again, and we only did 50 grand this month.
Yeah. Only.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
And then you're talking to, mum, the bookkeeper, and she's like, man, this month is great, right? And you're like, no, because we didn't.
Yeah.
Hang on. I understand, and, I like to, every 3 months or so, I forget that I don't have time to catch up with people. And I set, I book all these things, coffee, this, that, lunch, blah, blah, blah. And then a week later, I have to cancel them all. And I'm like, why am I in business if I can't go and have coffee and do all these things? And it's because you're not in business to have coffee and fuck around. You're in business to be in business, and it may come one day when you're making money passively or doing whatever, where you can fuck around and go out for lunch and do all these coffee things. But the metric of success right now is not having coffee. It's getting to work, you know?
100%.
And I think that sort of, you tell me if I'm wrong here, but that mirrors that perspective of frustration that because I'm not achieving this goal that I put in front of me, that I'm not achieving anything. But in fact, peripherally, we are still moving forward.
Yeah.
And that, I feel like that understanding that for the first time is like, cool, got it, I know that. To then practice it and exercise that skill over and over and over. Like, dude, we're in a massive, like I said, Riz has been pretty crook lately, and it's like, it feels like we're going nowhere.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, you're operating at the highest capacity you've ever operated by yourself, and you're actually still growing 1% at a time.
Yeah.
But because we're not growing 10% at a time and 5% at a time, you start going I must be shit at business. What am I even doing?
Yeah. It's just thought habits that you tell yourself as well. It's just loops.
Yeah.
I'd be like, okay, I'm comfortable telling myself that I'm frustrated when I'm not.
Yeah.
Just need to reset, label it something else, because it's just easy to say it's frustration.
Yeah, well, sometimes it's for lack of a better word, right?
Yeah.
So you go, what is this feeling? It's not success. It doesn't fit into the category of anything on that blue side or positive side. So you're like, it must be in the red side. So I'm frustration. It's frustration.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Just so you can set it done and try and move on to the next thing. But that's why I found journaling has really helped, because it's like, okay, no, we're setting time aside, dump all the shit out, and then just sit there and analyze it for a little bit and just go through it, process it. And then most of the time now, I just look at it and go, it's just a day.
Yeah.
It's just another day. We're still moving forward.
Yeah, interesting. All right, I hit it. I'm come to life. I'm sorry. It took 50 minutes. I'm with you now, all right?
That's cool.
All right, so you're all right, let's talk about journaling. I've done creative writing forever. Something that has always stood out to me. I used to write my creative writing process started writing ridiculously romantic stuff in my early teen years.
Nice.
And it was always what do you call it? Recovering heartbreak.
Yep.
When I was really hurt, I would write about it and how it could have gone perfectly or how it went so imperfectly, and that's why it led to what it got to.
Yep.
Which then forced me to investigate the timeline. Right? So it's all shit now.
Yep.
It's all shit because of this argument we had before we broke up. It's all shit because before that argument happened, this thing happened which led to an argument. It's all shit because before that happened, I was triggered by it. And you go all the way back to... Yeah. And you go, okay, cool. There's actually an element of responsibility on both sides that reigns true to why things turned out the way they did.
Yep.
regardless of who they are and what they did and whatever I perceived it as this terrible, heartbreaking thing in that moment, I can actually go right back to the start and go, well, I saw the red flag and I let it happen.
Yeah. Yep.
Or I went for the troubled person because for some reason that was my Tumblr crush.
Yeah.
Like, you know what Tumblr is?
No.
Bro, you're so young. Crazy, dude. Google Tumblr girls when you get home. It's going to fuck you up.
Oh, shit.
No, Tumblr was like the original like Reddit/Instagram.
Oh, true.
Yeah, Tumblr was essentially like a blog. It was TUMBLR. You hear it referenced in songs now. Basically, it was just a feed, and you could either post stuff or reshare other people's stuff. And typically, it was based around very emo / well, my feed was very emo, you know. But it's like, you know, Tumblr girls are like the tattooed, big fringe, black lipstick, that sort of like.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's like when I, you know, you start peeling back that timeline, you go like, well, why was I attracted to that sort of girl? Well, it's because I was consuming this shit on Tumblr. Why was I consuming this shit on Tumblr? Well, because, you know, if you want to get deep into it, I was moved around as a child and I had all these experiences and I felt like I was detached from everything. And these people, these females also had some sort of detachment in their life. We're getting way too so deeper. Anyway.
You feel like you could relate to them in some way, shape or form.
But in that was the responsibility that I was taking on this type of engagement. Right.
Yeah.
So, and I didn't, you know, this isn't one of those things when you're 15 years old writing this, you understand that.
Yep.
But the practice of going into that timeline and going like, well, where, you know, I wore my dirty boots into the house. It left mud on the floor. She got upset about the mud. Well, I'm only wearing dirty boots so I can give her nice things. You start doing these things and going back to what I was saying, committing those thoughts to the paper then forces you to go, is this actually how I feel and what happened? And now that I'm looking at my handwriting, who wrote that, how do I feel about that?
Yeah.
Right? And then that led to creative writing in the element of writing letters to other people, to myself in the past and in the future.
That's cool.
And then also doing this, like, I think similar to what you're talking about, brain dump exercise where you just be like, I don't know what I need to write about, but I need to write.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
And sometimes you sit down with the ambition to write about this particular thing. You write the first sentence and you're like, it's not about that at all. And then you write 5 pages about your thoughts on the fucking, you know, English Premier League football club. Whatever it is.
Whatever it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember what actually got me into it is because I had just come back from Adelaide from one of the coaching events that I do. And I was speaking to Shannon and I got to talking and he was talking about his granddad who'd been journaling for since he was maybe 16 and he's like 98 and he was just talking like how cool it was, like he's got fucking 98 years probably worth of just books, journaling kind of thing. So I was asking him questions about it. I was like, you know, how do you get into the mind frame, this, that, the other? And then one of the things that he said that stood out is just like, there's no rules.
No rules at all, bro.
There's no rules. Yeah. And it's so simple. Sounds so simple, but like I'm overthinking it. So I was just like, okay, cool. So on the plane, I had a book and I was just like, right, I'm just going to sit here, no music, no nothing. I'm just going to look at this blank page and I need to write something. And I was fucking staring at the page for like probably 20 minutes, half an hour, just like, again, still just overthinking it. And then I was like, fuck it. I think literally the first sentence I wrote was, I'm sitting on a plane heading back home from Adelaide, and then just pages just come pouring. Just like my learnings from that meeting, where I now want to go, goals I want to hit, this, that, that. Like it was probably 3, 4, 5 pages of just
brain dump.
Shit everywhere. Just, and then spent the rest of that flight just looking at it going, okay, I need to now do this daily because this is obviously a backlog of fucking years, months, whatever. And looking at that page and understanding what was written on that page and then trying to understand the thoughts behind it and the feelings in a way, but just just sort of going through the loops and stories that I was telling myself. It's just like, okay, this section here, irrelevant. It doesn't fucking matter. Let it go. This section, valuable. We need to understand why you're thinking like that and flip that to make it more, what's the positive in that situation?
Yeah.
Goals and that, why? What's the why behind these goals? Why do you want to do it? Why do you want to get this number? Why do you want to grow a team this big?
Yeah.
This, that, the other. So I kind of forgot. We'll get going with the journaling. But yeah, that's what really got me into it. And then ever since then, I think once I did that, I found it so powerful that I just kept it up as a habit.
Yeah. Are you writing in the morning or at night?
Night.
Interesting.
I find it better at night.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I use it as like a reflection of the past 24 hours.
Do you scroll in bed?
Not anymore.
Yeah, bad man. I like that. I've recently just gone from, so phone always lives in here, like
Smart.
after 6:30, like fucking who are you?
Yeah.
And then I used to fall asleep watching like one of 3 shows on repeat. It was like The Office, American Dad, or The Simpsons.
All good.
Right? Yeah, and it's like it's those they're secular shows where you live within a world.
Yep.
You know, like The Office, it's the same characters, it's just actually the same storyline on repeat.
Yeah.
With just little jokes thrown in there. And I've recently just gone like, even though I've gone my entire life falling asleep to the sound of voices, I need to. It's this growth thing, right?
Yeah.
I could just do this for the rest of my life, but who am I?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like I stopped biting my nails 13 months ago now because I'm like, what, you're just going to be someone who bites your nails your whole life? Fucking grow up.
Yeah.
So I just stopped.
Yeah.
It's extremely hard. I still put the nails under my teeth like I'm going to bite it every day, and I don't because I'm an animal. I'm a savage, right?
it.
And I've now got to a point where I've got literally a stack of different books on my bedside table so I can just pick and choose whatever I want. Nice. And I read until I can't fucking read.
Awesome.
Until you get to a point where it's, who cares?
Where you're like, instead of dropping the phone on your face, you're dropping the book on your face.
Yeah, literally. And I've found that there's it's sort of like running in the morning compared to running at night. And this does relate back to the question I asked you. The reason that I like to write at night is because there seems to be a compression of emotion that comes from the organic pressure of the day.
Yes.
So if you wake up in the morning and you're all bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, it's almost like you don't have an actual reading on what's going on.
Yeah.
Because you're sort of operating a little bit better than what you should because you're well recovered. You know, you're excited about the day. You've got this goal to work towards. I don't have fucking time to write in how I feel.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel like I need to get to work. That's what I feel right now.
And then also, you don't have all the little fires that come throughout the day to interrupt that main goal or that fire that was like, fuck yeah, I'm up, let's go. You don't have all the little shit that comes with the day to then just to analyze it and go, well, it's not really that important. And to actually understand that it is only a little trash can fire. It can stay there burning.
Yeah, it's not that important.
Yeah, it's not that important. We don't need to put that out.
Yeah.
That can stay burning.
Yeah. I see that. And the reason I ask whether you scroll in bed is because I think in our position, our bandwidth needs to be protected with our life because
100%.
That is the thing that will project you towards this faster. And having it stolen from you is the thing that will pull you away from this faster as well.
Yep.
And I think to be able to go, who am I? How am I going? Where am I on the track? What happened today? What can I do? Is tethering you more efficiently to your life in severe contrast to how much scrolling pulls you away from it.
Yeah, 100%. And I'm glad you use the word bandwidth because I use that all the time. My partner fucking probably sick of the word.
That is, dude, that's what we're measuring though. That's
exactly.
the thing.
But in that same breath, she understands how much more bandwidth she gives me just by the stuff she does for us, but also the energy that she gives me for just being in my life, if that makes sense. For it's like, okay, it's another reason other than myself and my personal goals and my personal growth that I want to do it for. So it's like, I'm not just building this life for me.
Yeah,
I'm building this life for us, possible children.
Yeah, dude, that's what makes it exciting.
Yeah.
Because if I was just building it for me, I'd have 6 Harleys by now.
Yeah.
You know, and trust me, like I've had all the
still want to get there.
Sure. Sure. You know, right now I don't own any vehicles.
Yeah.
None. No
yeah,
van.
that's
No,
hectic.
no. And when I first started the business, I think at one point I had like 3 cars, 2 bikes, like just bullshit I didn't need.
Yeah.
You know, and at the time, I eventually ended up selling things one by one and then invested that money back into the business, as I have done with the van.
Yep.
I was like, oh, I have this asset sitting there. It's not an asset. It's actually a liability because it's a vehicle and it's an old vehicle.
Yeah.
Just sitting there. It's like, well, could the business use the money? Do you use the vehicle? Yes. Sell the vehicle. Like, what are you doing? You know? And when you go, oh, but then I won't have a vehicle, rah. It's like, yeah, but we have a vehicle.
Yeah.
And if we have a vehicle, then what do we need another vehicle for? And I think that us, like as soon as you break through, and that's another ego thing, once you break through this thing, this is not me, the breadwinner, beating my chest, blah, 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 and she gets to come along for the ride. It's like we are on the ride.
Yes.
And my capacity to achieve is only as good as her capacity to support me in that and for me to accept it.
100%.
Like that's like, it's easy for me to go like, you know, Carmelo, from now on, you're going to support me and that's it.
Yeah.
But if there's no respect, I can't accept it and I can't be appreciative and grateful for what you're doing. Probably shouldn't have used you like in a female-male relationship context. You know, that's like she knows that everything I do is for us.
Yeah.
You know,
it's of value.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And you're exactly right. Like, I think when it comes down to, and when it comes to things like scrolling and literally donating your time, energy to something that just like literally goes into the internet and to nowhere, compared to we're going to go for a drive.
Yeah.
Or let's sit down and talk about this uncomfortable thing that happened recently and I'd rather it not happen again, or whatever it is.
Let's just have a conversation.
Yeah. When you get to that place, it's like, oh, there may be no stopping us.
Yeah.
We may be actually it, you know, and all of a sudden, I hate this bullshit. We're like, oh, there's the one out there for me. Dude, the one is the person that you commit to.
100%.
You create the one. There is no one that's in existence and you're like fish in the ocean, you got to find them. Bitch, you got to commit to it.
Yeah.
That's the one.
Yep.
You know?
And a lot of that is you got to commit to yourself as well, because your partner is a reflection of you.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Yeah. I tell you what, I'm going to give you 45 seconds to do an ENM promotion to the camera. I'm going to go get something I want to show you, all right?
Done. A promotion? Well, let's start off with this fucking beautiful shirt supplied by Outfit Co. What do we do? Who do we are? We're ENM Electrical. Do all your resi renovations. Do big commercial projects as well, shop fit outs.
So, what these are, it's something that I got off an early mentor. They're all the same thing, right? They change slightly on the cover and even less slightly inside. But basically, what every page is like a page to a day or 2 pages to a day.
Yeah.
You've got one of the newer ones there. It's good. So basically what this was, on the right-hand side, that was just stuff that I had booked in.
Yep.
Things that needed to be done, things I needed to remind myself of. Everything on the left-hand page was like a checklist. And also like a reflection. And this was like a daily, so if you look at the like checklist, there's like pray, sleep, hydrate, read, love, play, learn, exercise, create, give, grow, and wealth. Right?
Awesome. And
it would change over time. Like the real recent ones, I've stopped doing this for about 6 months now. I'm out of breath.
You're running.
So I've stopped doing them for about 6 months because I felt like they had served me through that real growth phase of actually like tethering to this like weird abyss of owning and starting a business, right?
Yep.
But the whole concept of this was essentially to force myself to like, when I close my eyes, I think about what am I actually writing about? It is that tethering to your life.
Yeah.
And when I ask, well, what are the things that tether me to my life? And it's like good sleep, praying, playing, growing, knowing where my wealth is at, exercising, creating, giving, taking. And so this really was this like exercise every day to sit down and go like, well, what are the things that I actually achieved today?
Yeah.
You know, what did I pray for? How did I sleep? Did I do any exercise today? It was like literally accountability every single day. And I felt like this was really the thing. And the crazy part is I have like, these are a month each. I have every month from when I started up until 6 months.
Yeah, that's sick.
It's ridiculous.
That's something I wish I had done earlier.
And this here is like, you're having a bad day. Bro, I go back on these and open up. Like, we'll just take a random example. So this is, it says 8th of May to the 10th of June. Who knows what year it is on? All right, so what's the reflection? I woke up today a little concerned as to how people may take my new design and my decision in not running for council. I've had business owners meeting this morning. They made me pay for breakfast, sat me in the worst seat possible, and expected a new member to sign up for $2,000 a month plus $35 a week. Oh, $2,000 for the year and $35 a week. What the fuck? Nick Riachi was there. He brought me his coffee back to mine. Dad, him, and I stood around talking. I remember this day actually. Perfect. Like that was the fucking BNI, I think it was, or maybe like a Chamber of Commerce thing. And it's like, you want me to pay $2,000 for what?
Yeah.
I create community shit myself, and now you want me to be part of your community. I have to pay to do it.
Yeah.
And also, this would have been when I didn't have $2,000 to spend. You know.
100%.
So it's like just a reflection now, sitting here going like, if I had that same experience, I might consider it. How further have we come along? Yeah. Or the fact that I've done everything I have done already without spending that $2,000. How far have we actually come?
Hectic.
You know, and to have these to look back on and go, you know, obviously this isn't as creative writing as my usual creative writing, but just something where it's like, I do want to commit to writing something every day. I just don't know what that is. It's like,
really
well,
helpful.
Give it a structure.
Yeah.
You know, and I literally,
that is sick.
The original thing that I got given, it was called the Productivity Pack. Ryan Youngman gave it to me. And I literally just put it into Illustrator. And I was like, I'm going to recreate these into something that's contextual to my experience.
Yeah.
And this is what it turned out as.
That's mad.
Yeah. So it's like that creative writing exercise, I feel like at any point of your experience is such a powerful tool to not just like do it, because you don't want to just be doing it. You're like, oh, I've got to sit down and write. Fuck. You want it to turn into something you look forward to.
Yeah. Yep.
You know, it's like, oh, I can't wait to had this little run in with this customer, or I had this thing with Dylan, or didn't quite win over here. I want to explore that.
Yeah. It's almost like when you get like a little niggle in your muscle. It's like you get a little niggle in your mind and you're just like, fuck, we need to stretch this out. We need to fucking just massage it a little bit. Let's massage these thoughts. Let's get it out. That's how I've found now. And again, I've only been doing it for 20 days, so I find that sick. Like that's to do that so early on as well.
That's there's a pile of them like this too.
That's mad.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And like to be honest, it's one of those things now that I look back and go, why did I stop at all?
Yep.
But with that said, as you know, as a business owner, there are only 24 hours in a day.
Yep. Yeah.
You really have to decide what you're going to spend that time on doing.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that is, I wonder, like, it'd be like how you've just gone through and reflected on like that in the past. I would love to see what I was worrying about two years ago.
Yeah.
It'd probably be so small and I'd be looking at it like, what a fucking loser. But I still needed that experience.
Yeah,
you still need those little insignificant problems to find out that they're insignificant.
Yep.
So, but that's, it's interesting. I've fallen in love with journaling, as fucking weird and gay as that sounds, but
no, it's cool as. I'll tell you what the next level is. Buying notepads and pens that you really fuck with.
Yeah.
That makes it heaps easier.
Dude, for sure. I haven't got to that level yet. What's a wicked...
I was in so much pain when you got here this morning. I had a slow 6K run. I swear slow runs are harder than fast runs, hey?
Yeah.
So these are Lamy fountain pens.
Hectic.
So they're like... I feel like they're the first...
Oh, what the...
Yeah, so they're a proper fountain pen. They may be a little dry. You have to get them running. They'll get going. But yeah, they because I've been sitting horizontal for so long. But yeah, or is it completely? No, it's completely dry on you. But yeah, they've actually got the split in them. So as you press harder, it creates like a tail, so you can go narrow and wide. Yeah, they are dry. I haven't used them for about 2-3 weeks. So they're like fun to write with. The only problem is you're right-handed. If you're left-handed, they're impossible to use because they do stay wet for a bit, so you drag your hand through it.
Oh, got ya.
But they're a really fun writing pen when you're going to take time to write.
Fair.
Right? Because there's definitely a difference between chicken scratching where you're just getting thoughts out.
Oh, man, I write all caps.
Yeah.
Just
yeah, like I'm fucking...
that way I can still read it after.
Yeah, right. Then when, like, this is my kit at the moment, and it's like super nice lined paper. I think these books are like fucking 30-something bucks a piece. Like, dude.
Feels good.
You want to write in that, you know? It's got the nice tearaway at the top. And at the moment, I'm going through all different sort of things that I'm trying to get out of my head.
Yeah.
So it's like my story shit, lessons that I've learned shit, stuff. These are like letters that I'm writing to my future kids about like how I'm feeling and what's going on at the moment.
That's cool.
My pick of pen at the moment is just a super basic, I think it's ballpoint.
Yep.
Dries immediately. Just super nice. You know what I mean? Now this kit, so this has been my writing kit for like the past, say, month or so. Container, some sheets for stuff to go in, pen, book. I think the whole lot cost me $50.
Yeah.
And then you've got this thing that not only do you commit your thoughts in that to, you've committed financially to this thing, and now I want to fill this full of stories.
I think there's something that you touched on there, committing to it financially.
Yeah.
Massive thing as well.
Yeah, of course.
Financial commitment for me, and I think for anyone really, does help, like, with your commitment, driving you in terms of, say, like, you know, I'm going to spend a good chunk of money here. I need to apply myself.
Yeah, for sure.
So, and
especially
even if it's, something like that, you're like, okay, now I need to make time to do this thing, X, Y, Z.
Do you find, this might be the wrong question for you, but do you find when you picture yourself writing, like in the ideal environment, the ideal situation, what does that environment look like?
I don't know about for me at this stage, again, it's only early on, I don't think there's an ideal environment. I do like to change the location because I feel like that brings fresh perspectives. But like when on the plane, I reckon that was probably the best I felt because one, locked in, couldn't go anywhere, phone's off, which is what I do now anyway.
Yeah.
But like I was saying at the start, that movement, like so.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like say I could probably do it in a car if someone else was driving.
Yeah.
Obviously, but like that movement.
Hang on.
Yeah, hang on. Yeah, fucking frustrated at this car in front of me. Fucking asshole. Get out the
light is
fucking way.
green, dickhead.
Yeah, get the fuck out the way. No, but I actually enjoyed it on the plane because it was like that feeling of physically moving, but being still helped my mind move through things. And yeah, whether or not it was just backed up first time I'd done it and fucking just brain vomited on like 4 pages, whether it was caused by that movement and it felt more free flowing. Yeah. But most of the time I either do it at the moment at my desk, like, because as soon as I finish, say, like the last task for the day, then I'll go eat, come back, sit, journal, reflect on the day. It'll either be at the desk or be outside, just like on the fucking table, just sitting there, letting the day just quieten down, sun going down. Don't know. Definitely, I don't know, ideal location. I feel like I've got to do a bit more exploring in that department.
You almost need to like experiment with what happens if I write here, what happens if I write under this influence.
Yep.
Yeah. See, at the moment, I have a playlist that I listen to on Spotify. It is called Sad piano music to cry to.
Yeah.
Yeah, and a lot of times when I write, I do cry. It's typically out of sadness or happiness, and it's a really even split. Because I mean, writing at either end of the spectrum is easy. Yeah. Writing in the middle, where there's like I feel okay, is really hard to write about.
Yep.
You know, like writing letters to your kids is like, man, I'm like writing letters to my kids where I talk about like the women that sharpen my teeth in my life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You know, everything from like the relationship that I had with my mum, which as a boy is the first woman you fall in love with.
Yeah.
You know, through to the women that completely fucking psychologically destroyed me for seasons. You know? And it's like when you have that, for me, that's such a that's an emotional environment to take myself through these chords and through these sounds to the feeling of like heartbreak and the feeling of like distrust and disenfranchisement and like just hurt in its purest form, and then go, all right, we're at ground zero. Now let's write from here.
Yeah, so you're using that playlist just to sort of get you in that flow.
Yeah, the influence of dark.
Yeah, and just really tap into that emotional side
of
you.
Yeah, because I mean, you know, if you want to make me cry now, you talk about, you know, how you had to put your dog down once, or, you know, something that I can relate to and I wouldn't want to happen, or I have had happen and I know how sad it is. But then to go like, you know, write me a sad story with how you're feeling right now, go. It's like, what I'm
not feeling fucking anything.
Yeah, my pen ran out of ink. Like, what do you want? I don't know what you want, you know?
Yeah.
So I think like there's the emotional environment, which typically I also find that my best work comes from when I'm meant to be doing something else. That's that class clown shit.
Yeah.
You know? You know, if I know, you know, we go to bed at the same time, if I'm like, I'm just going to do some writing, and I get 20 minutes into that writing and I'm like, I know that she's about to turn the light off and she's going to start going through her routine, and I'm missing out on that, and now we're going to be out of sync, and she's going to get, you know, half an hour more sleep than me and all that. That's when it starts flowing out of me, boy. Yeah. I'm like, all right, we're on a roll. I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to commit. Tonight's no good in our schedule and I fucked up my sleep pattern. It is what it is. I'm just going to be here and I'm going to give myself to that. I tend to find that's a really good environment. But the reason I ask is I used to have this like idea in my head that I was like a tortured soul of an artist.
Yeah.
I was someone who had been through it all, and it's only through that experience that I had something to write about. And I pictured me writing in like a dimly lit room, you know, ashtray, cigarette, smoke going up to the ceiling.
Okay. So the question you're asking is more so, how do you perceive yourself when you're actually writing? Is that you kind of going with that question? Like,
I think, yeah. So there's like the third party perspective of what does it look like when you write.
Yeah.
Then there's the like psychological environment of where you're at when you write.
Yeah.
And then there's like down to the actual experience of writing. What does the pen feel like? Do I like the scratch of a pencil, or do I like the roll of a ballpoint?
Yeah.
What paper am I writing on? Is it a napkin? Is it nicely ruled page? Is it on the back of something else? Is it in between the words of a book that I like?
Yeah, got ya.
Am I typing? Like, there's so many different things. I feel like the actual activity of it is so, like, at this point for me, it's like one of the most exercise things in my life is deeply personal when I write. Like, I'm not just writing, it's everything else as well.
Yeah.
You know? And that's why, like, you know, I got to most recently, I'm like, oh, I'm going to go into this lane of writing, and I feel like that's really interesting. I feel like I've got some stuff to unpack, especially with like the past relationship shit. Like, I'm in such a good point now. I can really start to figure out what went wrong in these past relationships. I go, oh, how am I going to write about that? And what perspective would I do it from? And actually, it's such a beautiful thing in my mind to unpack. Maybe I want lined paper for this.
Yeah.
Maybe I want this type of pen. You should have seen me at Officeworks going through every fucking, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Trying to create that environment in my head to see what transverse to the page the best.
Yep.
You know? So yeah, it's a very open-ended question. What's the environment that you see yourself writing in?
Yeah. Well, I think I've got to experiment with it more. Just like, because hearing you talk about even just writing, say something so simple, but the way in which you've described it and the stories that you've put around it, the way that you think about it is, I find that inspiring. So it inspires me to, one, do it more, reinforce the habit, but then actually have fun with it in terms of, say, experiment more.
Yeah.
Locations, pens,
type
of paper, and just see what it does. Because at the moment, it's still very new to me. And it'd be. I think I am kind of understanding what you're saying, like by putting yourself in different situations, locations that could bring out different emotions, different thoughts, and just going from that.
I think even like I've found before, like writing in hotel rooms, you get some weird shit in hotel rooms, and then to zoom out of that, you're like, I'm in this communal space that I get to rent for a bit, right? Like in a hotel room, like everyone's fucking dealt drugs and, you know, weird sex and like there's a lot of stuff that's happening in a hotel room, and now I'm trying to like conjure art onto a page. It's like I am me, but I'm in this like tornado of everyone else, and I'm trying to be like somehow consistent to who I am. It's like, bro, I'm not even in my city. Like, what do you mean? Like, what are you trying to get out of me right now? You know? So even like that, honestly, I don't think I've ever dived into writing so publicly as to what I've done here. But yeah, it's one of those like fascinations of mine to.
Yeah, well, I'm just getting into that fascination, so it's come to the right person to talk to then.
Dude, I tell you what, and I'm not going to keep on harping on about it, but I always find that I'm the conduit between the infinite intelligence and the page.
Yeah.
Right. So, and much like the podcast, I spoke. Did you listen to the Gage podcast just recently?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, and I said I sort of shit the bed on the podcast before.
Yeah, I didn't think you did. I thought that was actually because I know him, like I've done work for him before and all that,
right?
And to hear him explain his story in the way I've never heard it like that before, so I found value out of that. Even though probably in your head, so you're probably bashing yourself, going, "Fuck, I fucked that up."
Dude, I'm bashing myself the first 50 minutes of this podcast. Like we're incredibly hard on ourselves. That's what makes us great, right? Yeah, but I think, like I said to Gage about that podcast where I felt like I didn't do as good as I could do. I start sentences with no idea how they're going to finish.
Yeah.
All the time.
Yeah.
Right? And I call that just going like, right, the antenna goes up and it's like out there somewhere there's brilliance. Yeah. You bring that in and you give it to me and dude, writing's the same. Like I had this feeling. The feeling is sort of like the sentence starts with this. I'm going to start the sentence and that's it. And here's the next sentence. And that brain dump feeling that you felt on the plane is like, right, now I'm connected to it. I have to stay tethered to it until the story is done.
Yep. And then once it's done, it's like you get a energy from that.
Yeah.
Like it's, fucking mad.
You feel like a kid going to show your parent a rock that you found. You're like, look, I wrote this. That came from me, you know?
They're like, cool, buddy.
Yeah.
Give it for the back.
Keep the Oh, but no. All right, I'll put it back. That's so interesting. And the part that gets me is everyone can write.
Yeah.
Like everyone can write.
Yeah. And I used to think that I couldn't. Like I was just like, I can't fucking write for shit. Or like, I'm just not good with my words, this, that, the other. You create excuses. But I think, when Shannon said to me, there's no rules, I don't know what it was that like it made the penny drop in my head. I was just like, well, fuck, duh.
Yeah.
Like, okay, let's just start fucking writing some words, man.
Yeah,
like, it's just words.
Yeah, it's so, I find it so fun. This is like almost unrelatable, but it's relatable in that the no rules thing. I sat down the other day to write about this. What was it? I sat down to write about like the moment that I left for Europe when I was 17.
Yeah.
Because I left for Europe for a 3-week trip, ended up living there for a year, went pro on a speed skating team. My life like changed. It was a major pivot point.
Massive, yeah.
I remember I was like leaving. I was at the international airport. And it was just me and mum. Mum dropped me off. I wasn't going with anyone. I was going by myself.
Hectic.
I'd been out of the country a couple times before skating as well. And mum's like crying and I'm like, well, I'll be fine, mum. And for me, I'm like 17. I'm like, I'm going to get on this big fucking plane.
Yeah,
I'm
fucking living.
Connecting flight. Like, look at me. I bet you everyone in high school thinks I'm the man, Didn't even have fucking real social media back then. But anyway, so I've like got on the plane. And I remember thinking like, fucking mum was really upset, Like really upset. And it's not until, we're talking 15, 16 years later that you think about that moment and you're like, she was watching me become an adult.
Yeah.
You know, like at that point, I'd already gone and lived in Perth for so long, and I was a manager at Dome in Hillary's. Like I was probably beyond where I should have been for that age.
Yep.
You know, but that real like fearlessly going to Europe to race in a competition that I was probably not going to do very well at. It's like, oh, he's a real motherfucker.
Yeah.
You know, like he's going to do it. And maybe she knew at the time I wasn't going to come back. You know, maybe she knew that this wasn't going to be a 3-week trip. And even though she didn't know it, subconsciously, she's like, I'm saying goodbye to my boy.
Yep.
You know? And then, as it turns out, mum and dad ended up splitting up while I was over there. And when I came back, my friends group had changed. You know, I'm an only child. I didn't have any brothers or sisters. Mum didn't live in our house anymore. Like it was very like...
different, yeah.
Life was different.
Changes, yeah.
You know? And I was writing about that. And I ended up, started it, literally did the first sentence, and I'm like, oh, that's an interesting start to the topic we're going to write about here, but we'll loop it back around. I've done this before. Yep. It'll be fine. And I get 3 pages in, and I'm like, this has nothing to do with that.
Yeah.
At all. At all. And that's a really great topic, by the way. And it's something I've been resonating on. It's something I've been thinking about, but this isn't about that at all. And it's actually about when I first experienced a man being comfortably feminine around women, right?
Yep.
And I had this, I was in a relationship with this girl. I got really good friends with her friends who she lived with, and which was this couple. And I noticed that when he came home from work, which was late at night, he would come in the door, and his missus, my girlfriend at the time's friend, would meet him at the door, and he'd put his stuff down, and he'd stop, and he'd take her in. And then he'd grab her face and neck and give her the kisses.
Yep.
Right? The exaggerated kisses.
Yeah.
And up until that point in my life, a kiss between a man and a woman is something that's very sort of brief and over quickly.
Yeah.
And it can be intense, but that's usually in a sexual tense, blah, blah, blah.
Yep.
It was never like this gay fucking...
Yeah. So at that time, you're probably like, who the fuck is this?
Gay!
Yeah. You know? Fuck me, man. But yeah.
I watched this dude create that moment every single day that I was there.
Yeah.
And they had little nicknames for each other. Specifically, he had nicknames for her.
Yeah.
And I remember at first it was subconsciously, I'm like, I mean, as gay as that is, that kind of slaps.
Yeah.
He's so confident in who he is. And even with me around, whoever I am to him, even with me around, he's like, I don't fucking care about you.
Yeah.
I love her.
Yeah.
And it's not even about whether I communicate like this. I know she responds well to this communication, so I'm going to do that. And I remember thinking I want to be more like him.
Yeah.
You know? And now, you see me with my little girl dog, or you see me with Riz, I'm a fucking wet towel, bro. Yeah. I don't give a fuck about how it looks.
But there's power in that.
That's right. And it's being so confidently masculine that I know I can take over the world. I know I can beat my chest and build a business and make money and be a winner and be the man. But dude, I'm everything she needs me to be.
Yep.
And if that, not necessarily if that means, but if that includes being able to be vulnerably this, opposite of being the gorilla, and then watch me do it, bro.
Yeah.
Watch me do it. And that piece of writing turned into being able to be masculine in a feminine way. Yep. Right, it's being able to not really care about what masculinity is on the surface, but to be so sure of who you are and the love that you have that you can demonstrate these physical acts that might not be perceived as that. And where did that come from? And I saw him do it for the first time, and how was he able to do it? And it was so interesting to start something with the intention to go this direction, and it went the total opposite direction.
Yep.
And as you say, there's no rules. Write about that thing.
Yeah.
Then.
If that's what's flowing at that moment, just continue. Because there's a learning in there.
There is.
There's a learning in there. And you probably learned about the masculine and feminine energy.
Dude, I learned that this part of me who I am now as a 33-year-old that I really fucking it came from that legend.
Yeah.
Dude, I thank the stars that I was around him at that age. Otherwise, I would have just continued on this path of beating my chest and dragging the woman back to the cave after I hit a rock over her head.
Yeah.
You know? It's it's such a... It's weird to look at those forks in your road and realize that, I turned right when I was going to turn left way back then, and that's led me to where I am now.
Yep.
you know?
And had you not had that experience, you probably still would have needed to balance yourself out, like with your masculine and feminine, but it could have been totally different and totally destructive as well.
For sure.
So, yeah, it's powerful.
I think, like, have you had this conversation with yourself about, like, what masculinity is to you?
Probably not in depth. But I'm confident in who I am.
Yeah.
And what I do. Like, I don't need validation, for lack of a better word, from others.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just, as long as I'm living within my values, I don't give a fuck.
All good.
We're all good.
Yeah.
As long as I don't. In terms of, masculinity.
I know it's like a prickly one, hey?
Yeah, like, what specifically about, like, in terms of how I perceive masculinity, or
I guess it might be like, what's my projection of masculinity? What's my expectation of masculinity? So it's like, what do I see? And then what do I push out? Right? So my thing is, like, I grew up with, if you're masculine, you're big, you're covered in tattoos, and you control shit. Right?
Yep.
And now, when I see big people covered in tattoos controlling shit, I'm like, you're the most insecure person in the room.
Yeah,
you have to demonstrate so fiercely that you're in control that it probably represents the complete opposite internally.
Yes.
Right? So this goes back to where we started. It's like, when I walk into a room and I see smart people, I don't try and tell them how smart I am.
Yeah, fuck no.
Dude, I just try and, like, sit there,
sponge.
listen. And if they say something I don't understand, I'm like, excuse me, can you explain that more? Because I want to know.
Yep.
You know, because then that's when they go, the tattooed guy in the corner, he's so happy to be dumb in this situation. He's asking me to explain myself, and I fuck with that.
Yeah.
Right? Because I know when I am the smartest person in the room for whatever reason, and people ask me the right question, I'm like, oh, let me give you the biggest download you're about to get because that was the right question.
Yep.
Right? So I feel like that question of, like, masculinity is maybe what's the meeting point of when you see true masculinity versus what you project as your masculinity?
I see my masculinity as protective provider.
Okay.
That's summed it up in a nutshell.
Yeah.
What that looks like physically could be so many.
Yeah, it can be anything.
It could be anything. But yeah, for me, it's protect, provide.
Yeah.
Does that answer the question?
Yeah, no, it does. Dude, it was a fuck question anyway. Like, who am I to ask that? But
No, it's a great question, but I just feel like I haven't probably fully developed that opinion on that. It's just like I just view it as a protect, provide.
You probably have a better grasp on what that all means, having brothers and sisters that are older and younger than you.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you've seen examples of what is good and bad just through life, people living life around you that you love and that you're connected to. And, you know, you've seen mistakes being made and what that causes.
Yeah.
And you've sort of probably put in some emotional and physical guardrails in your life as to how you're going to act and how you're going to communicate. And that, in essence, ties to masculinity, right?
Yeah.
Like, I remember the first time, when I was about, say 13 or 14, Mum and I were having some sort of disagreement, and I'm a mummy's boy through and through.
Yep.
I like grabbed her hand or something, and she pulled her hand. She's like, "Don't you ever touch a woman like that. That is not okay." And I remember being like, "Fucking chill out, dude.
Yeah.
You could beat the shit out of me if you wanted to." But to that moment forward, like, I can confidently say I have never, ever, like,
done that again.
Done that or anything like that again, because that was such a like horrifying moment in my mind to see my mum for the first time turn on me and go like, "Don't you ever fucking whoa!" Like you subconsciously, I'm like, pump the brakes. It was like
didn't mean it in that.
Didn't mean that. You know, I remember the first time I said the C word around mum. She's like, "You say anything around me except that, I'll bash the fuck out of you." So
yeah, needed to learn that.
Got it. I'll write that down. But yeah, it's like that. So I think maybe when you see those instances happening for your, especially older siblings, you go like, I don't need to find out where the line is there. I don't need to test those waters.
Yeah. So there's definitely been a lot of that for me, especially it's been good having older siblings. I've definitely learned a lot from them.
For sure.
Definitely have caught the brunt of like hard lessons to learn that I've gone, yeah, well, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
Or I am going to do that because, you know, that's perceived as good. But again, it's a perception. And whose perception is either good or bad. So it's a tricky one.
Yeah. Yeah, so I remember the first time I physically met you face-to-face because I think we did our first interactions were like over DM, over email, and then I delivered your stuff.
Yep.
And I remember just like we pulled up at the front of ProTune maybe, and you got a box of stuff. And I remember just being like, "Ooh, direct eye contact, good handshake." He knew when the conversation was over. I feel like I want to spend more time with him because we didn't spend enough time together.
Yep.
Right? Those things, like I obsess about communication. Yeah. I really do. And like I know the triggers and the key points to good and bad communication. And it's like, oh, that's someone who's either thought about that a lot like me or has been around really good communicators their entire life. Right?
Yeah. I think it's more so being around the right people.
Yeah.
Because see, like going back to that masculinity question, the reason why it was such a basic answer is because there probably hasn't been much thought around it. But I've had the role models around it.
Yeah.
Say like dad. Protect, provide, brothers, older, protect, provide, pass that down on to the siblings. My job, protect, provide for them, look after each other. But yeah, I think it's been more so the role models that have I've seen it, and there's probably been my own personal thoughts and perceptions around that, but I haven't actually processed them. Yeah. So it's just I'm doing it because they're like implanted. They've been implanted on me. Whether they're good or not, they've been serving me well in life. So you can perceive them as good. Yeah.
If you've never been in a position where you have to go like, hang on, I thought I was doing something the right way and it was the wrong way. Fuck, what does that mean? Like if you haven't had to have those moments, then it means that typically your perception or understanding of masculinity does align with society enough that you don't have to question it.
Yeah.
Right? Like I think that's fair to say.
Yeah.
I know I had this real, this probably goes back 6 years or 7 years. I wrote this real standout thing and it was like really simple, 4.5, 5 pages. And it was like, it was this like question of like, well, what is masculinity? And it was really like timely. It was very like of the times because I feel like the pendulum has swung back a little bit the other way. Yep. So you and I have a few things in common: straight, white, male, provide, protect.
Yep.
But for Christ's sake, don't ever undermine the privilege that you have.
Yeah.
Right? You are privileged beyond belief.
Yeah.
And if you have an opinion, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
All right? Like, it doesn't matter how good that opinion is because you're straight, white, male. I don't want to hear it.
Yeah, shut up.
I don't want to hear it, right? So you go, okay, cool. And then when the war starts, did you want me to go or not?
Yeah.
Right? When shit gets really hard, you know, when the intruder comes to the door, do you want to stand in front of me or behind me?
Exactly.
You know? Because guess what? I don't want to answer the door either.
Yeah. Yeah.
I will.
Oh, exactly.
But I don't want to answer the door either.
100%.
You know? And I did this writing where it was like essentially an exploration of masculinity. Maybe I was aware of it at the time and maybe I wasn't, but it was this real like this push and pull of like, you want me to be this, but you also want me to be that, and they cannot coexist. Exactly. You have to pick one or the other, you know? And it's like, this is a really prickly topic that I bring up in conversations and it always ends badly. So let's do it on a podcast where no one can tell me I'm wrong.
Fuck yeah.
I feel like all men have this feeling within them of like, we should almost be congratulated that we don't wreck shit when we're angry.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So like if I got angry enough, I could destroy everything in this room.
Yep.
everything with my hands. I could pull the bookshelf off the wall.
Yep.
I could rip every page out. I could destroy the fabric that this room is made out of.
Yep.
I could pull this table apart.
Yep.
I am a gorilla in my heart, right? And then you get in a relationship or relationships, you know, you go through it and you get angry and you do something and you see that look in her eye. You know, you see your mum respond to you like, don't you ever grab me, and you realize that that's not acceptable, that you actually scared that girl for a moment.
Yep.
And then you realize that when they get angry, they can yell and they can scratch and they can bite, but they can't destroy the world.
Yeah.
Right? So we are different in that regard.
100%.
And then as you go on through life, the expectation for you to manage those emotions, for you to continue gaining intelligence within your emotions is not only something that you should focus on, it's something that you should master.
Yep.
And you should get to a point that even when the most crazy thing happens, you can go,
You're a stone.
big swallow, all good.
Yep.
Let's move on, right? Now that is a major part of masculinity.
Yep.
Because when you're young, masculinity feels like punching a hole in the wall.
Yeah.
And then when you're in your 20s and 30s, masculinity feels like the ability to go, okay. When you're 50, masculinity is just like, next.
Yep.
Yeah. What happened? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that happens. Anyway, you know? And it's like that writing really was like, it really explored like, who the fuck do you want me to be?
Yeah.
Do you want me to be the provider? Do you want me to be the one who takes down the saber-toothed tiger? Do you want me to be the absolute weapon that is everything that is man? Or do you want me to be just someone who folds at the first sign of, you know, oppression or disagreement or a different idea, like, oh, now we're going to support the bloody transgenders identifying as giraffes or whatever they do. Like, what the fuck do you want?
Yeah. And when you ask that question, who do you want me to be? Who are you asking that question to? Yourself?
I'm asking society.
You're asking society.
Yeah. Because the reality is, I'm trying to be the best for that.
Yeah.
You know?
For society.
For society. Because I feel like I don't give a fuck about society, but society doesn't give a fuck about me.
Yep.
So if I give a fuck about society, I can have a clear expectation. It's like, hey, are we all playing the same game? Because if we're not playing the same game, I'm the same powerful person that can take over the world for good or for bad.
Yes.
I can be, I was going to reference a evil villain you wouldn't know because it's before your time. All good. Cortex from Crash Bandicoot, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
It is Cortex or Vortex? I was going to be him, right?
Yeah.
But I'm choosing to be Crash Bandicoot.
Yep.
Right? So the question is, do you want me to be the one who plays the game and we're all playing the game?
Yep.
Or do you want me to be the one who decides to play my game and then you're just going to be characters in it?
Yeah, got ya.
And it's an impossible question because it lands somewhere in the middle, because you can play for society and society still supports fucking transgender people and giraffes and shit.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not saying that there's a problem with them. I'm saying all the stuff that comes after the fact when we accept that. Like if we accept some sort of craziness
it's always going to be there.
is going to follow.
Yeah.
Right? So yeah, it's like that masculinity conversation is just like understanding what it is societally is extremely hard, but understanding what it is for you is something you can sort of wrap your head around over time.
Yeah. I probably haven't asked that question for like society because I probably, gonna sound bad, I probably don't care enough about society at this stage because I'm just focusing on, as selfish as it sounds, my world, people in my world, the relationships I have, say like our relationship, that's part of my world. Society can crash, burn, whatever. It's just going to be another day for me, my perception. But yeah, the masculinity thing, I'd probably be more reference into how I react.
Yeah. Yeah, I really feel like you've had really good role models around you.
I have, yeah. 100%.
Yeah, because even like the ambition to, I mean, you find a lot of people who do get in business at an early age. You're like, yep, our parents are in business, had a brother who had a business, had business, and you're like, yeah. I mean, even my dad had a business for 10 years, and I'm like, how much did you make this year? And how much does a normal person make? Is there rules? Okay, there's no rules. You can just make as much money as you want. Okay, might do that.
Yep.
That's cool.
That sparks
you
your
know?
interest.
Yeah. So it's like that sort of by osmosis you turn into your environment.
Yeah.
The savages out there that just start a business because of like Instagram or something, you're like, yeah, you're different again.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. 100%. Yeah. Takes all sorts, I guess.
How long time ago been a PT in business for herself?
Fuck.
Ask me after podcast, bro.
No, it'd be, I want to say August last year, whenever World Gym Australian opened up.
Oh,
She worked
wow.
for it, yeah. So not that long, really.
Okay.
Very fresh. Only started last year.
My perception was she's been doing it for years.
No. She's only just started that.
Because we had a conversation at Sanctuary Golf Resort
Yep.
one Friday evening. That had to have been maybe just before or just after that.
I feel like it was just before, because she would have been. What was that for again?
That was Troy Bodigle's.
That's right. Yeah. No, that was definitely before, I think.
Yep.
Because the gym hadn't opened up then.
Right.
But yeah, she's talked about it like she was already living it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Because I my only bit of advice was talk to the camera. Talk to the camera flat out. Just, I don't know. And then like I think it was like the next week I started starting to talk to the camera. I was like, get it, girl.
Yeah.
That's sick.
Yeah.
And what's it like? Obviously that's her full-time gig.
Yep.
Yeah. So what's it like? Do you have to have rules at home around how much you can talk about business? No?
Nah, I think for us, we thrive on talking about business.
Yeah.
It's something that we connect on a lot, which, don't get me wrong, there's times where not needed like a break, but just like, I think between the two of us, we're really good at communicating between each other in terms of we'll frame the conversation before we have the conversation, if that makes sense. So she'll be like, hey, I just need a vent right now. I don't want you to solve any problems. I just want you to listen to me vent about these problems.
Yeah.
I know I'm going to figure them out. Need you to be a sounding board.
Yep.
And I'll just sit there, cross my arms, and just shut the fuck up.
Yeah, just listen.
And vice versa. I'll be like, hey, can I get your perspective on this?
Yeah.
Just as someone she's probably an unqualified person to talk to about it, but just that different perspective that I could get. Like, I'll frame it like, if you were a customer and you experienced this, that, and the other.
Yeah.
How would that make you feel, respond?
What would you expect?
What would you expect? Right.
Yeah.
And that's, I don't know, we love talking about that shit, but we also, like, we still connect on other stuff as well, but we're both, it goes back to our values as well. I'm going to keep going back to that because, see, my highest value is growth.
Yeah.
And then it's, it's growth, then it's wealth, relationships. Hers is health, wealth, relationships as well.
Right.
So that's the other stuff that we connect on, our relationships and this, that, and the other. Where I was going with that, I fucking forgot. But
yeah, I think what you're saying there, one part of having to, like, hey, Carmelo, can I get your idea? Can I get your perspective on this thing that I'm going through?
Yeah.
Right. And I go, this happened with this person, and here's all the elements involved, and here's how I think it should have gone, and here's how it went.
Yep.
Right. There's a few things that are happening. I have to deliver the story, so I have to know what I'm talking about.
Yep.
If you're really aware, I'm going to give you the perspective where I should win.
Yep.
Right? So by the time I ask your opinion, you go, Jake, you should win.
Yeah.
This should have happened and you should have won.
Yep.
Right? There's also the response where if you're aware, you're going, well, he's giving me one side of the story.
Yep.
So tell me, what did they say? And why did they say that? And do you think maybe they said it because of this, right? So I think that whole sounding board experience, where I think one key part that this is actually, in fact, with most females telling you anything, they don't want you to solve the problem. They just want to tell you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think there's the element of being able to have that, hey, I'm going to vent, or hey, we're going to problem solve with your partner is such a fucking cool thing.
Makes it a lot easier for the guy, at least.
Yeah. Makes it easier for everything.
Yeah, everything.
You know?
Yeah, 100%.
Because if she can come to you and say, hey, don't like it when you do this, because when you do this trigger, it makes me feel like this result, and I'd rather it feel like this, which is my
dream outcome,
preferred result. Yeah. And when you have that formula as a guy, you're like, I'll just change what I'm doing then.
Yeah.
That's
it's
really
easy.
cool.
It's like 1 + 1 = 2.
Exactly. Instead of, instead of when fucking, you walk in the house and you hear a big sigh and you're like, hey, is everything all good? They're like, yeah, it's fine. You're like,
fucked.
Well, I'm going to go fucking
do something else.
Hang out in the shed for 4 hours, And then it's like, I just don't like it when you leave your shoes there. You're like, what's the root problem though? Well, it's just when you leave all the water on the sink, you're like, what the fuck were the shoes about then?
Yeah. It's like dancing around the problem.
Yeah.
Going back to the original is like having rules of when you can and can't talk about business. For us, nah, not really. We like to talk about it.
Yeah.
It's something that drives both of us. If they're, I was gonna say we shouldn't, but again, that's just like implanted values from other people. So, like society saying, no, you can't talk about work after X amount of hours, like 9 to 5. Or we go on we go for, like little breakfast dates at Balu and all that. It's like most Sunday mornings. And that's like we catch up and talk about like our relationship. Like we put the bumpers on. Where are we? Are we still, 1, heading towards the same goal? 2, do we still want that same goal?
Yeah.
And then we'll just have conversations about us, our relationship, where we're going, who we are as people, how we perceive each other, and just are we on the right track in terms of where we want to be and if we still want to be doing that.
That practice is crazy. Yeah, that puts you ahead of most relationships. Yeah. Because I think that standard thing that happens in relationships where people, fall in love, spend as much time as they can with each other, honeymoon period, great sex, everything's cool. And then, you go back to your life that you had before you met them. You sort of like go back to work, go back to soccer training. You do this on Thursday night. She does that on Saturday mornings. And all of a sudden you're just like living with this person who, don't get me wrong, you have strong feelings for, but you can drift away from each other over time. And then especially when like I'm lucky I've created a lifestyle where I literally am never separated from her. Yeah. We're always at home together and like we love hanging out together, and it's like there's never a day where I wake up and I'm like, fucking had enough of you, Yeah. But I think for the, for your average environment where, and I say average because it's the average of everyone's experience, where, you go to work, she goes to work, practices like that where you're like, hey, eye contact, are we still doing what we wanted to do? We are? Cool. Yep. All right. Can we add to that? Can we subtract from that? And it sounds like that's what that is for you.
Yeah. And actually being honest with yourself and the other person.
Yeah.
Like, I'm all right. Like, I really don't get feelings involved in terms of like, as the average man does, it's more logical.
Yep.
But it's like, just being able to separate that. Well, does she want to hear this? It's just like, in my head, as bad as it sounds, it's like, well, who cares if she wants to hear this or not? This is honesty. And and we know, again, because we framed it, that this is what this date is for. Like the breakfast date is for. It's for honesty. So it's like, if you didn't want to hear it, then we shouldn't be here.
Yeah. Yeah. There's there's expectation versus reality in like situations, right? So sometimes, and I'll use a real life example. So we go on we have like a date night, or we have a date, right? And you go and you'll be getting like the food comes and you're like, oh, it's weird that the food came before the drink did, but that's all good.
Yep.
Okay. Then you have the food and then you're like, oh, okay, this is average. I thought it was going to be good. And then the drink comes and you're like, actually kind of the cocktail tastes a little bit, it doesn't matter. It's all good.
Yeah.
And something comes up in conversation that you're like, oh, this isn't really date night material, but okay, let's talk about it now. And all of a sudden you're like, I hate this, you know?
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be nice food. I thought you're going to get a little tipsy, maybe do this,
Yeah.
you know, go for a drive after, fucking whatever.
Yeah.
And it's not. And now it's this. And I don't know what to do with this because I didn't expect this and I didn't idealize this. And now this is happening. I'm like, I'm happy to fucking keep playing this, whatever this is. Not her fault either.
Yep.
It's just not what I expected.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
And I think sometimes the expectation of what things could be ruins what they are.
Because you create a fantasy.
Because you create a fantasy, you know, and as we keep mentioning, like we are extremely ambitious. So I'm not going on a date night to have half an experience. I want it to be fucking awesome.
Yeah.
You know, I want it to be crazy.
Yeah.
Right?
Not just for myself, but for the other person as well.
Yeah, of course. And that's when I think when you relate that to the, okay, this is less about having great food and great experience and being in a great place. Am I right? It's actually about having this open and honest conversation. And sometimes because honesty has like rough edges.
Yeah.
Right? It's so good when you get it, but sometimes when you get something that's good to get in the transaction of receiving it, you're like, oh, I kind of fucking hurt a little, but.
Oh, yeah, fuck no. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that, you know, we can just fucking say exactly what it is and not feel emotion. I'm not saying that at all. No, like there's definitely times where I've said some things where she's just like, you know, fuck you kind of thing.
Yeah.
And me back. But then it's just like we know we're in that frame where it's just like, thank you for saying that. Like, I'm grateful that you said that. Fuck you.
Yeah.
But thank you. Because I needed to hear that.
So interesting, hey. I feel like there's something, I don't know how to explain what I'm saying in my mind. I think sometimes when you hear things from people and you're like, maybe this is more her listening to us because, like, you got to understand that the task that a woman takes on connecting herself to an ambitious man is so overwhelmingly difficult and she doesn't realize it on that first date.
100%.
You know? And sometimes I can see the life fall out of Larissa's eyes when I tell her something that is probably, I didn't think that rough to hear, but she's realizing that, okay, not only is that his intention or his goal, but he's that sort of guy. And when you literally describe the sort of guy you are to this ridiculous goal that you're now putting on the table, like, I've been thinking about it, we need to head in this direction, and she's like, we just got to where we are.
Yeah.
Can't you slow down a bit? It's like, no, I can't.
Yep.
I can't. I'm sorry. Like, it's not enough.
Yep.
And I think in those moments, it's not even about what you're saying. It's about the person you're continuing to demonstrate who you are.
Yep.
That's the part that is like, fuck you.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And it's like, God damn it, I love you, and I'm going to keep up this bullshit.
Yep.
But you make my life hard.
Yeah.
You know? It's so interesting. And then to be able to step out of who you are in those situations and realize, like, I'm about to lay insult down to injury, on top of injury for this poor girl.
Yeah.
And, you know, and I feel like we're at a point now where, like, I hit her with the next big thing and she's like,
yep.
All right.
Yeah.
Cool. What do you want for dinner?
Yeah. Exactly.
You know?
Yeah, she's like, yeah, it's just, yeah, they come to realize that this is part of life, like part of
this life. Yeah.
Yep. And again, like, as bad as it may sound, it's just like me and you, we're going to continue to do what we do because that's what drives us. They're more than welcome to stay or go.
Yeah.
Which can be a hard conversation to have sometimes as well. But, you know, once they realize that, and even you realizing that it doesn't matter what happens, this is the path that I've chosen because it gives me purpose, gives me drive, all the other bullshit.
Yeah.
Having those conversations with them become much easier.
Yeah.
Because it's like, you've known this from the start.
I think the stay or go, like that's such a crazy thing, right? Because it's I think in order internally when you set these crazy goals, you go like, oh, I like to achieve this. There's a potential of extreme failure.
Yep.
and you go like, I'm taking on the acceptance that if I fail, it will be miserable and embarrassing.
Catastrophic, yep.
Yeah. And that's fine.
Yeah.
You know, if I like line up for the 100-meter race and I'm meant to be the winner and I trip over my feet as I start, fine.
Fine with that, yep.
You know? And I think this is the thing, when you project a light into the darkness of what success could be, and you're like, oh, there's so much out there, the equal opposite reality is also true.
Yep.
So you're shining a light into what could also be deemed as failure. It's like, oh, a family's embarrassed about being related to me. My friends pretend they don't know me. I'm fat. I got a small dick, like all that, right? And I think when you relate that, which if you stay with me mentally, visually here, you can rotate that on its axis, and it's the same in a relationship. The things that we can achieve as a couple is so monumental that people will look at us and be like, how the fuck did they make that work?
Exactly.
Right? But I'll do it by myself. It's not what I want.
No.
I want, in this instance, I want her.
Exactly.
And I can choose whatever I want because I'm that guy. It's not about looks. It's not about whatever. It's I choose the life I want, and then I craft it in front of me. And I want her to be in that life. But if this comes to a point where it's like you can't keep up and it's like overwhelming for whatever reason, it doesn't fit into the reality that you want for yourself, like I will continue marching this direction regardless.
Correct, exactly.
You know?
And that's exactly what I'm saying. Like it's not that thing of like this is what I'm doing, take it or leave it kind of thing. Like I don't give a fuck if you stay or go. I should probably clarify
not that.
It's not that I don't give a fuck if you're in my life or not. I very much do. But it's that understanding for both parties, which is why I say we constantly check in with each other, like, is this still what we want? So that way when we have those conversations, it's like, this is the path. We're still both wanting the path. I'm going to continue to want this path. And if you were to say to me, hey, I no longer want this, it'd be a hard conversation, 100%, and fucking devastating. But I know within myself that it's just like, okay, thank you. Thank you for being honest enough to admit to yourself and me that this is a path that you no longer choose. Yeah,
and not just sticking around and then end up resenting me and taking half of my fucking...
Exactly, because what's worse?
Yeah, what is worse?
What is worse?
Now we're both old.
Yep, now we're both old. You've hated me for... I don't know, however many years, just because you think it's made me happy.
Yeah.
And it may have, but if I then come to know that you were unhappy for those amount of years.
Yeah, it wrecked me.
It wrecked me. Yeah, it wrecked you. Because then it's just like, well, my life has been a lie.
Yeah.
So what was the point?
Yeah, that's I feel like we're dancing on a fucking very meticulous subject because we're both speaking as if she's listening to this right now.
Yeah.
You know? And I really want to defend that, like, and we've already both said it, but let's double down.
Yeah.
This isn't that I want to do this alone.
Yeah, fucking no.
And this isn't that there's a more desirable path without her that I would do this. And I think that, how long have you been in a relationship? Fuck, dude.
Fuck, dude.
You didn't tell me I need to do this research before I came on.
Oh, shit. Nah, I've been coming up 3 years.
Okay, cool. So you're fresh. You're fresh. And it doesn't feel like it, but you're fresh.
Yeah.
Right. So I think we're in our 8th year at the moment.
Nice.
So like, you know, engaged. We've the relationship started very like met on Tinder. Hey, we like hanging out. We'll keep hanging out till we don't want to.
Yep.
That was literally word for word. If you ever wake up one morning and you look at me and you're like, I don't like his breath, get the fuck out of me. I'm out.
Yeah, cool.
Same with me, I'll let you know. And we got like 3 years in living in the same house, and I'm like, I don't want to alarm you, but I think we're in a relationship.
Yeah.
Never had that conversation.
It's that, what are we?
Yeah. You know, and it's like, I think this is like for real, and I think I'm like into you. Like I think I might love you, you know? But like we went years without bouncing the L word around, and like even to this day, it's so obvious in our actions and in our behavior and language that we don't have this need to tell each other all the time. Like if we're going on a big trip and go away for the weekend, it's always like hug, kiss, hey, I love you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's not like every time we get off the phone or message or fucking or you know, like gay shit. But it's like it's so apparent that it's like we don't have to exercise that as much. The point that I'm making here is though that there was definitely like, we were never getting married, never having kids, never doing any of that, right? Yeah. And then I remember like one time, I think we had a little bit of maybe a biff about something, and I was like, I just need you on my team.
Yeah.
Like the reason that I didn't want to commit to anything and all that is because like I always had the assumption that my partner was on my team, and I more than once got bitch slapped by the reality that we weren't on the same team, that it was this like this weird nefarious like psychological push and pull of like, if you want to be with me then this, if you want to be with me then that. It wasn't crazy. Like an assumption that like we're together, so I can just assume that like if you buy this coffee, I'll buy that coffee, and if I'm living in your house, then I can put my clothes in the drawer, and just stuff like that. You know, I don't want to get too much into that, but that like I remember, and I've told this story countless times on the podcast, so forgive me, listeners, but there was a point where we're like living in a caravan. I've just started Black Ink back up, and like I'm watching my money run out, and one day it runs out. Yep. And I said to Riz, I'm like, look, if there's ever a point I need you to support me,
now's the time.
Now's the time. And like Riz she just turned 27, and I just turned 33. So we've got a gap between us, you know, like a sizable gap.
Yep.
And as a man, you're asking a girl so much younger than you, like, hey, I need you to support me because I got this business idea. Yeah.
And it's ego as well. Put that ego in check.
Dude, now it's like every single dollar that I make, I'm going to reinvest back into the business, and every single dollar I need to survive needs to come from you.
Yep.
Right? And it's
massive
like,
ask, by the way. Just
huge
to ask your woman that, and huge for her to commit and support that. And that, obviously, I'm guessing that's what happened.
That's what happened.
Supportive.
Yeah.
Opened your eyes into that world, and you're like, fuck.
It happened for years.
Yeah.
For years she supported me.
Yeah.
For fucking years, dude.
Hectic.
Like I'm talking through getting out of the caravan into a rental. It got to a point where I was, and like we were down the center for like, because when we were in the caravan, we were living for free.
Yep.
Getting into the rental was selling the caravan and spending the caravan money on the rent, you know? And then it got to a point where it was like, all right, I can afford everything the business needs plus rent.
Yep.
She was still doing the shopping, the bills, the fuel, the bullshit, right? Yep. So that went on for so long that it got to a point where the conversations about not are our goals the same, because I feel like the goals have always been organically the same. Yep. But the question of like, are you in this? She was always in it.
Yeah.
She was always in it. And now, like, it's funny, you know, the other day I said something about, you know, I paid for that or whatever. Like, I'm never allowed to say that I paid for anything because she paid for shit when it counted.
Yeah.
You know, like she paid for my coffee every day. Like she paid for everything when it counted.
Yep.
And I was like, hey, we're like 3 years past that. Can we let that go? She's like, no.
Yeah, fuck no.
No. I'm pretty sure I paid you more than what you paid for. She's like, it doesn't matter. Every dollar back then was worth 5 times what your dollars are worth now.
Yeah.
I'm like, you got a fucking point. So that, you know, going back to where we sort of started here, that conversation of like, hey, I will do this by myself, the ultimate version of this success is with you.
With you, yep.
And now, even the energy to have this conversation comes from that desire to do it with you.
Yep.
You know?
And it just makes you more powerful.
That's right. That's right. And like, dude, you think my ability to get on this podcast and be vulnerable and beat my chest and tell people the things that I've learned and here's my success and here's my failure comes from her comforting me when I'm crying at my keyboard because I can't figure out the next step.
Yep. Yeah.
Bro, that's what it's all about. It's being able to like be the fucking mountain and be the little pebbles that make up the rocks that make up the mountain.
Yeah. And that support system that they provide is huge.
Yeah. Yeah, it's essential.
Yep.
It's essential. So that, yeah, the original sentiment sounds so aggressive, like, I'll do it alone, I don't give a fuck, you know?
But no, it's not that at all.
Yeah.
Not that at all. It's just that thing of that we know our purpose. So it doesn't matter what devastating thing could happen, we'll still be walking that path.
Yeah, yeah.
Even if it's not running an electrical company or running
a printing
shirts
business,
or even not doing this podcast, whatever it is, there will still be, it'll go back to what you value and what gives you purpose in your life that you'll still be walking towards.
Yeah, yeah. I think also like when I speak to young people who are looking to do a thing, oh, I don't know if I like this thing or if I want to do that thing. It's like, bro, just do fucking anything.
Yep. Something.
Please do anything, because while you're busy learning on the thing that you don't want to do, it'll prep you for the thing you do want to do.
Yep.
And you might find along the journey that the thing you didn't want to do is actually pretty good.
Yep.
You know, like I was never passionate about high-vis uniforms, would you believe?
Yeah. Yeah.
But now it's like, oh, okay, I'm in some ways an industry leader, at least locally.
Yep.
And in the process of learning that, the sides, like the skills
So
that
many
I've
other
learned,
skills that come along with it.
dude,
Yeah.
it's crazy, you know. And it's like one of the fucking pie in the sky airy fairy dreams I had when I was at BCC actually was like, man, I'd love to know how to use Photoshop, bro.
Yeah.
I have one of my dude, this is the craziest thing. I was talking to one of my mentors the other day about a problem I'm having in my business. And he owns the business that sold me my printer, my heat presses, all the bullshit. And he's on another level now.
Yep.
I'm like, man, by the way, I've fucking figured out this bit mapping thing in Photoshop. It's like a particular technique of setting up your prints before you print them, and it mimics screen printing.
Yep.
And it's so inside baseball. I'm not even going to explain it to you.
I'm trying to follow, but like
it's fucking cool. It's cool. And it took me probably 15 hours of practice, half an hour at a time to wrap my head around. I'm like, bro, I fucking got it down pat. And he's like, really? I'm like, yeah, dude. You can get automated tools, but if you know how to do it manually, it's just so much fucking easier. It's like, it's so cool. He goes, if we have jobs like that, can I send them to you and just pay you to do it for me? I'm like, I mean, yeah, I don't want to. Yeah. You know, it's sort of like me asking you to turn on a light switch every time I want a light turned on. It's like, I can just teach you how. I can no, I didn't offer to teach him how to do it. He then said, well, how about I pay you to teach my guys how to do it?
Bingo.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Did my mentor just ask me to teach his guys how to do
something?
Fucking sit up straight when you're around me, dude. That's crazy. You know, and by the way, for the value of this story, today I'm jumping on a FaceTime with those guys to share my screen to teach them how to do it for free. Nice. Right? Because so many times he hasn't hesitated in answering the phone. Even the other day, an hour on the phone, teach me like, oh, I do it this way. You've got this problem. Okay, pivot, do it this way. Yep. And look at it from this perspective. You're looking at it from that perspective. You think it's bad. This is actually a great thing. You know, like what you were talking about before. Sometimes the pain or frustration you're feeling is the growing pain of learning. Yeah. You know? 100%.
And he's been, obviously I take it, just doing that out of his own time.
Yeah.
For free, So it's like you're returning that because now you've got value to provide for him.
Yeah.
And it's like a full circle moment, and it's just like
it's so cool. You know, and to also, because our industry is in a way so new, like DTF printing, the reason why no one else does it is because it is brand new and I just happen to be right place, right time. Yep. So then when you're learning these like skills within the new industry, you're like, oh, I'm on the fucking frontier right now, dude.
Yeah, what a time to be alive.
Yeah, like this is nuts. And the devastating part about it is I apply this print technique, I do it, I give it to customers, and they look at it and they're like, oh, that's so cool. And you're like, you don't even know what it took to get there.
Yep.
Oh, good.
Yep.
Oh, good. You know, it is cool, isn't it?
Yeah, it's awesome.
Tear running down my face.
Yeah, it only took me fucking 15 hours.
Some. Yeah. It's do you think do you feel like you have any specialized sort of part of the field of electrical work so far?
I don't think so.
No?
Nah, in terms of like what we do is basically just like renovations, like in the residential sector. It's renovations leads to like service installs, stuff like that. Commercial is just like shop fit outs, again, service, maintenance. Is it specialised? Probably not. Like there's a lot of other electrical companies around that do the exact same thing. So it's nothing sort of new, but nothing new.
What would be the point of difference between you and the next bloke with two operators?
It would just be, it'd come down to the team, the people in the team, how the team's led. At this stage, it's me, obviously, just how I operate, how I lead, which is why I'm always constantly chasing growth so that way I can become better. To then pass it to the team so they can be better, so the customers experience better.
So your funnel of customer service is a culture thing that starts with you.
100% at the moment.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So do you see that as the pathway to, I've answered my own question. That is the pathway to being able to have a group. Is that an alarm?
That is.
Is that you or me? No, that's you.
That's me.
Yeah, I'll get your phone.
Yeah, just turn that off. I don't know what that's for. Does that have anything with it?
No, just
no.
10:30.
True. Sorry about that.
We're 2 hours, 20 minutes in.
Hectic.
Not bad. So obviously if you've got 11 blokes under you,
Yep.
the idea is that are you still on the tools at that point, or are you just leading from the front?
No. At that stage, I will need an identity shift in the way that I am no longer an electrician.
Yep.
I am now a leader, business owner, whatever you want to call it. But in my head, I am at that point just a leader.
Yep.
So I will need to have the skills to lead the team effectively, not even manage, because I will have managers at that stage who will manage the day-to-day operations.
Yep.
My job will be to inspire the team, build the team,
Yep.
select the right people for the team, and make decisions for the business. That'll be my value for the company.
Wow.
At that stage.
So essentially like culture.
100%.
Yeah.
Yep.
So is there anyone that you're like, do you have a North Star that does that really well at the moment?
When you say North Star, as in who I look up to, I think Nixon's doing very, very good job with their people. And I'll say that. I don't care.
Yeah.
It's like, they're doing real well.
Yeah.
They're a inspiration. I wouldn't say I want to. I would love to pick Dave's brain.
Yeah,
just to
for
see,
sure.
what goes on behind the scenes.
Yep.
But I would like to replicate that to some extent. But that's, I don't know. The path will illuminate as I walk it.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Yeah, it's so interesting because obviously, you tell me if I'm wrong, like Dave is friend and foe at the same time, because obviously it's like a form of competition, but also someone who very intimately understands the path you're trying to walk.
Yeah.
At the same time, I don't know. I always defend that there's no competition. Like
I look at it the same way. Well, for one, competition is good. It's healthy for the industry. But really, the real competition or the real objective of all the electrical company is just to hold the standard of the industry, if that makes sense. So and I feel like that can be applied to so many industries. So like, you kind of want to hold the standard in a way so it eradicates, say, like your cowboys that go out there and just be like, yeah, I'm just a Sparky, we'll rip it in, do it, fucking get the job done, pay me money, fuck off, kind of thing. I feel like the real competition is just to hold the standard of the industry. Yeah. And the competition between the electrical companies is healthy.
Yeah, for sure. 100%. I think, like, say like cafes, right? Everyone sells coffee, everyone sells toasted sandwiches.
Yep.
So then you go, well, which cafe has the best atmosphere?
Yep.
Which cafe has a staff that remembers my name? And all of a sudden it goes from the core product to what's everything that surrounds the core product.
Yep. It's experience.
Yeah. So you go, okay, well, I get a PowerPoint fitted by Carmelo, Amanini, what's old mate's name? XYZ.
Yeah.
Right? Out of all those experiences, they're probably all going to charge me about the same.
Yep.
Right? Well, bloke over here left all the rubbish behind. Bloke over here, Carmelo, Dion, he did all the vacuuming around the shit and had a bit of a yarn for 5 minutes afterwards, made me feel like I was actually a friend, not just a customer.
Yep.
He arrived 5 minutes early. I know you've got the trackings that lets me know how far away you are. Like, it's not just...
It's just the little 1% things that...
Yeah.
really, then the customer will be like, okay, they are more expensive, but so what?
Yeah.
Like, I'd rather pay, I don't know, whatever it is, say it's $200-$300 more for that experience.
Yeah,
So it's
yeah,
like,
especially. And also then it comes down to the context of the customer as well.
Yep.
Like I find I did a price rise just recently, and I'm a beg for forgiveness, not ask for permission in every aspect of life, you know? And nobody's asked yet.
Yeah.
You know, because the people who do acknowledge it, they're probably going like, dude, I like you, Jake, I need shirts. Yeah, who's it for? Dylan select your large? Yep, cool. All right, I'll let you know when they're here.
Done.
You get an invoice, you pay it, they arrive to you at the site.
Yeah. The money doesn't matter because I know
Dude,
I
what's
can trust
$2?
you. Yeah, $2 more. You just fucking
take the money.
Yeah.
Take the money. You know, and I know especially because mine's all B2B, right? Yep. So if I'm dealing with a business owner, they don't fucking care about the cost if the product is correct.
Yep.
It can be $10 more as long as it's what I expect.
Yep.
Plus 1-2%. You know what I mean? Like at Christmas he gives me this or what, those things.
Yep.
As long as all of that is done correctly, it really doesn't matter about the price.
100%.
You know, and then the person who goes like, oh, well, I got quoted 270 over here. What can you do? Yeah. I can tell you to go over there and get the $270 because I'm not going to fucking race to the bottom.
Yeah, exactly. And sometimes with those conversations, sounds bad, but I do love having those conversations with clients because it's like I get to understand them as a person more. So I'll tend to ask questions like, okay, like you can, like I'd be like, say if our prices were the same, who would you want to go with? Oh, you. Okay, why? And then they're literally just relaying to me everything that they find more valuable than the other customer.
Yeah.
And then the question becomes, okay, so wouldn't you rather to pay that extra to have all that other value?
Oh, yeah. What is that value in dollar terms?
Because it sounds like to me you've already made up your mind with who you want to go with.
Yeah.
So is the price the real problem? Usually it's, oh, no, I just want, you know. Obviously, because everyone's trying to look after their pocket to some extent, but sometimes it's just making them aware. It's just like, well, okay, it is only like $300 more. Yeah. Who gives a fuck?
Yeah, especially if you're already spending $2,000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. $300, it's just like, well.
Yeah. I was talking to, I got a mate who's categorically sells everything too cheap on Marketplace.
Yeah.
Right? So my van I actually bought from him. I don't want to say how much I bought it for. It was not enough. Anyway, he's got this motorbike for sale. And I was like, dude, that feels way too cheap. He goes, yeah, I've got it up for $6,000. I want $5,000 for it. He goes, you know what the problem I find though, whenever I put something up that's way too cheap, I get people offering me $2,000 and $1,500 and $2,500 when it's like, dude, knock off $1,000 and you can have it. Which, by the way, is 1/6 of the price. Yeah. It's $1,000. That's a real, actual, like it's valuable at $6,000. It's a steal at $5,000.
Yeah.
But you still want to push me.
Yeah.
Right? And it's like, all right, how come when I go to sell something for what it's worth, you get the people going like, hey, you're free tomorrow. I want to come around and look at it. I'm not fucking you around, mate. I got the cash ready to go.
Yep.
Look, before we even get there, it's $6,000. I'm coming with 5.5. Does that work for you?
Yep.
You're like, yeah, fucking oath, come around. Why is it when you just try and do the right thing and you just want to help someone out and get rid of it as quick as possible, that's when the creatures come out of the woodwork?
Yeah.
Now, let's flip that around. You're someone who's actually looking for a KTM adventure bike. You know, you're looking for the 2011 model, you want the 950cc, and you want the one with the windshield and the bags.
Yep.
They're about $8,000, right? One pops up, it's just had the major half-life service, it's $6,000.
Yeah.
Right? I'm going to message this cunt and say, hey, I'll give you a deposit of $1,000 right now.
Hold that.
Yeah. I can't get there till tomorrow. If you've got other people looking at it, I'll give you more than what they're offering. Yep. Because I know it's worth $8,000. I've been looking for this. This is $6,000. As long as it is what you say it is, mate, I'll fucking have it.
Yeah.
Right? So now when we look at the creatures before that are offering 12, they don't even want the fucking bike, Carmelo. They just want they want the win.
Exactly. Yeah.
They want the win.
They just want the win.
Like when it comes down to it, if I'm contracting you to come and put in downlights and install this and do that, brother, I'm not looking for the win. I want the fucking job done.
Exactly. 100%.
I am here to get the job done. And typically it's because there's a stage that comes after that and you are just a step on a bunch of steps. Yep. Let's get you in, let's get you out.
Yep.
And if it costs $300 more,
Doesn't matter.
Is it going to be done on Friday, Carmelo? Yes.
Yeah.
Here's the money.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
And it's like when you're on the vendor end of that and you're coming up with these prices and you understand like, dude, I obsess about the service. I obsess about the product. I make sure that by the time I'm there on Friday, my boots are laced up tight. I have all the shit, the tools
And
ready to go.
rolling.
Dylan knows what he's doing. We're fucking installing lights.
Yep.
Price is a price, baby.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Take it or leave it.
Yeah. But also, we don't have the time to explain that to every single client that comes through the door.
Yeah,
You know?
exactly.
Like, go back and listen to the podcast,
Yeah.
hour 2, minute 15.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
fucking oath. All right, well, I don't know about you, but I think we've hit most of the topics under the sun.
Yeah. I'm enjoying this conversation, so you want to keep going.
Have you got any questions for me?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I'm just trying to think of how to put it together. That way it doesn't sound loaded. But what made you want to have this conversation with me, to bring it onto a podcast?
Oh, I think because my radar for animals is pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I know that, like, most of the blokes in my friends group that you know, they're all savages.
Yep.
You know? And, like, I like hanging out with savages. And you're like I wouldn't say second, probably a third tier person that, like, if I see you in the shopping center, I take my AirPods out, I go say hello to you.
Yeah.
And, like, you're on the radar. Like,
Yeah.
I know that if I watch you for long enough, I'll stand back and go, yeah, pick that. I picked him being a winner, you know? The chat that we had that night at the Sanctuary Golf Resort, like, it annoyed me that we were in such a location that I couldn't have a proper conversation with you.
Yeah.
That there was too much going on too many people asking dumb questions around us. I was like, oh, I could just hone in on this and just talk to you guys for 2 hours and I would feel satiated intellectually.
Yeah.
You know? And I think that like, I've got a hit list of people I'd love to have on the podcast because it's like, I don't have to think about the topic. I don't have to think about it. We're just going to sit down and we're going to talk. And that literally, I started this podcast drained and I let you take the wheel and you were just like, I'm driving. This is fun. You know what I mean? So I think that, like, that innate ability to pick out people who have internal monologues and who have value to offer. And when you ask them a question, they're coming from a point of like, I've thought about this. And if I haven't thought about it, I have that internal capacity to come up with an opinion in the moment that isn't just words. It's actually something.
Yep.
I think that's very obvious in you. Yeah. And I think, like, watching you grow from afar and, like, little things, like I haven't consciously thought about the fact that I got that text message saying that you're 10 minutes away when you came to do a job for me. I think it was those lights in there.
Yeah.
But it's like things like that. It's like, oh, you're paying attention to what you're doing.
Yeah.
You know, like, there are other contractors in this town that contract me to do their uniforms in whatever industry. And I can tell by the way they communicate with me and by the way they give me directions and that for what they want. It's like, you don't take this seriously. Actually, I bet you don't even brush your teeth seriously.
Yeah.
I bet that you have one sock on inside out at the moment. You know, and that's not how I live my life.
Yep.
And those people will never get an invitation onto the podcast. No matter how well they do in business or how interesting they might seem on the outside, I know they're empty on the inside.
Yeah.
You know? And some people just have value fucking flowing out of their ears, and you're one of those people.
Nice.
Well done.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's also like, you know, I feel like maybe people have a perception of what the podcast is.
Yeah.
Of like, you know, early on in the piece, I used to do the clips for Club Good podcast up in Perth. They no longer do a podcast. That was two blokes, Scott Mellor, Josh Gray.
Yeah.
Scott Mellor was the original Street X designer for 10 years.
Oh, okay.
Josh Gray, just an interesting cat, just also is involved with Street X. He's like, he got locked up in Japan in prison for 3 months. He got caught with cocaine. Yeah. Crazy story that. And yeah, they're just two interesting dudes. And one of my friends went on their podcast and I heard about them and I really like related to them because they were Perth guys and they talked about things that I had heard of before and places I've been to and Street X and that. And one day they said, oh, if anyone can make clips for us, that'd be great. And I'm like, I'll make clips. Please let me do it. I already listen. I already have some editing experience. And I did their clips for about 6 months before going on the podcast. And at this point, I had my own podcast and I had guests on my podcast.
Yeah.
And I remember I got up there and I was like, when I met them, I was like holding my breath because I was like anxious to meet them because I'm like, man, I love you guys.
Yeah.
But they're just fucking people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And Like, nothing against Scott and Josh. Love both of them. And like, I feel like I got so much from that part of my life. But they're extremely average dudes.
Yeah.
Like, with extremely average shit that concerns them, extremely average shit that goes on in their life. And like, I'm that.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just an average dude. You know what I mean? Like, I shit like everyone else.
Yep.
You know? And like, I struggle with addiction, and I struggle being masculine, and I struggle being vulnerable, and I struggle getting to sleep sometimes.
Yep.
And you know what I mean? Like, I'm extremely fucking average.
Yeah.
But I feel people holding their breath when they talk to me too.
Yeah.
Not necessarily on the podcast, but in real life. You know, like, I feel that people treat me a particular way. And I get it. You know, I'm adorable. I'm 6'3". I'm covered in tattoos.
Just a fucking sex
Dude,
symbol.
some people are going to struggle around that, all right?
Yeah.
But I do feel like, you know, going to the races on the weekend, I was doing like man in the crowd interviews.
How'd
And
that go? Different?
people, yeah, very different.
Yeah.
Very different. I also ran 22.5 Ks that morning. I was fucking wrecked.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
And then drinking as well?
Drinking, 37 degrees.
Cop that.
Yeah.
Yeah. The weather as well. Phew.
Sucks. But it was one of those environments that, like, multiple times I had people, you know, the podcast and this and that, and it's just like, you realize, like, I record the podcast with like mics that I got off Marketplace and like cameras that I bought that they can only record in 1080, and just like everything is so extremely average to me.
Yep.
But because it appears on a screen and because I've so consistently done it, people build this perception of what it is, you know? And it's like, I'm really at this point, I'm not trying to get people on that will make really good clips and go viral and that. I'm literally just trying to talk to people that metal will sharpen metal.
Yep.
I'm trying to be the best possible version of me. And the only way I do that is by having these long form conversations with people who make me fucking think about things.
Yeah.
You know, who make, like, when the podcast is over and I go away and I'm like, fucking Carmelo said that he'd do it with or without his missus, and I agreed. And then I dived into that. And I do feel like that, but maybe I could have said this better. And then usually the really good podcasts are the ones that make me feel so much anxiety I don't want to post them because I don't know if that's how I actually feel or if that's actually how I want to respond to that.
Yeah.
And then I've found that those are typically the podcasts that people resonate with the most because they felt that too.
Heck.
Right? The way to get to those points is to speak to people who are having these internal conversations with themselves.
Yep.
And typically the things that they project into their life are things like business, because it's the only mud map of success that actually equals a metric of measurable lifestyle increase. So if you're good at getting better at things, then you should have a business, because the better you get at business, the better your life gets.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to be surprised when you hit that target.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be surprised when you tell me the next target is triple that.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be surprised when you meet that target, you know? And it's like the fucking animals in my life and the targets that they set and the way that they do it. And the bizarre part is, like, I remember the first time I was talking to, like, my friends group. We're all laying on the back grass out here, and you know, we're all fucking written off at bloody midnight. And Riz goes like, oh, well, I think what we should do is, like, we'll all go around and we'll have one person and everyone has to say something about that person that they find really, like, positive or inspirational or whatever.
Yeah, right.
And the most consistent thing that these guys said about me is, like, you're so fucking, like, single-mindedly obsessive about the thing that you want to achieve that nothing else matters to you.
Yeah.
I'm like, really? That's how you perceive me?
Yeah.
And then that then forces you to go like, oh, okay, I'm that person to them. That's how I see the people that I want to be like as impressive, is they just, like, they don't care about the rest of the world. They care about this.
Yep.
And this only, you know? And you're just one of those people. Yeah. Yeah, that's why I wanted you on the pod, for sure.
Legend.
Yeah. Yeah. How do you go digesting that? Because that's obviously, I've just explained how I digested that. How does it go hearing that?
Yeah, it'll definitely be journaled about tonight.
Yeah.
And just to process it, but digesting it as of right now, it resonates with me.
Mm.
Yeah, just that obsessive single track mind of, like, this is what I want, who I am, that I need to be to get there.
Yeah.
And it makes sense.
Yeah. And that the cool thing about that is like that also crosses over into what we were talking about before. When you decide, and I don't know if you made this decision, but when you decide that she is her, and you're like, oh, you have to understand that I'm committing. My 100-year plan now involves you.
Yep.
Yeah, and it's like I was having this conversation with actually with a chick at the races on Saturday, and I was saying, you know, like I remember. It was like, I don't want to say the moment because it wasn't like a moment, but I remember like the sort of time period where I made, I asked myself like, all right, is Riz it? Like, is she it?
Yeah.
Because if she's it, we can stop worrying about heaps of other stuff. You know, like there's like probably 25, 50 girls we can just unfollow.
Yep.
Right? We can just go, oh, well, I don't need to worry about inroads with that there. I don't need to worry about, you know, the fallback here. It's like the fucking dude, you know. And also, there's a whole bunch of conversations I don't need to have anymore. There's a whole bunch of interactions that aren't valuable to me. There's a whole bunch, and I mean, don't get me wrong, it takes years after making this decision to really eradicate all of those things because some of those girls pop up every day on your feed. Yep. Some of those girls only pop up once every 6 months. And some of those girls only appear in your life once every 3 years.
Yeah.
You know? And it's like, you know, sometimes, not that it hasn't happened recently, to be honest, but, you know, you'll be at a situation and you know, at an event or something, and you'll see a girl that, you know, maybe you had some sort of like situation, feeling, whatever, years and years and years ago. Yeah. And like you see them for the first time and you pick up those emotions where you left off and you're like, oh, it's you. And then the thing of like, yeah, my 100-year plan doesn't involve her. And you're like, man, I hope you're having a great day.
Yeah.
Instead of like, oh, yeah, no, like, well, you know, what do you do? What's going on? You know, it's like, we don't need to have this conversation.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
I think that obsessive commitment, like when you do focus that in on a relationship, that relationship then becomes so fucking powerful.
100%.
You know, because you're like, oh, you don't understand. Like, I don't see anyone.
Yeah.
Like nothing else.
Everything else is just a distraction.
Yeah.
Or it devalues.
Yeah. And it's like when things happen in your day, you're like, I can't wait to tell her about this.
Yeah.
You know, I was like, oh, she's not going to believe it when she hears this.
Yeah.
You know?
It's fucking mad.
It is. And I feel like from the outside looking in, it's very attractive. You know? Like, dudes, I feel like, you know, as a person, you're meant to be quite liberal when you're young and track towards conservatism, right? Conservative mentality, as in, you know, when you're young, you sort of want to go like, yeah, tax the billionaires and fucking blah, blah, blah.
All the shit that doesn't make sense.
Yeah. And then as you get older, you're like, oh, the billionaires earned their money. Okay. Yeah, no, maybe, I mean, tax them, but don't fuck them, right? Mm. And I feel like when you're a young man, you're like, no, I want to be him. I want to grow up and have all the motorbikes and have all the options and, you know, fuck a different girl every weekend and do all these things and blah, blah, blah. But then you get to a certain stage where you're like I did with my friend and his girlfriend at the door, right?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, it's actually super cool having such a strong connection with someone that he looks forward to that moment.
Yeah. And he doesn't give a fuck who's around.
Dude, when he gets home, he's like, I finally get to be back with her.
Yeah.
You know? And it's like, man, the thrill of the chase is awesome. But dude, when you've got someone that you've got inside jokes with that you hang out to see, it's a different thing. And
someone that you're building your lives together with, and you're chasing the same goals. Not the exact same, but like, you know, you both want the same things out of life to a degree. Is just fucking magical almost. Yeah, it is. It is actually magical. And that, I mean, that's the same as like going back to the writing things down vision board, you know, setting goals. The essence of being able to like ambitiously set this idea of what your future could be if we started working in this direction. You know, I want to be a millionaire. I want to drive this car, live in this house, I want to do all these things. You go, well, do I think that's achievable? So far with the results of my life, probably not. I know that other people have done it, but other people have got different advantages and maybe this happened and maybe they got given money or whatever it was. But then when you start to go, well, if I was to do it, how does it work? You set steps. And then, all right, maybe just to remind myself, I'm going to write it down every morning and every night. Yep.
which is a form of prayer, by the way.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, maybe I'm going to spend some time just going like, close my eyes. What does it feel like when I get into the Porsche? The leather, the smell, the steering wheel, cool. I know that transmission's like that. The sound of the door as it closes.
Yeah.
Visualizing it, also a form of prayer.
Yep.
Right? It's like manifesting, what does it actually feel and look like so I can pretend I'm already there before I get there.
Yep.
Right? And then part of the journey between now and then is the journaling, the reflection, the what went wrong, what went right, how can I be better?
Yep.
Am I getting worse? Am I feeling pain and frustration that is faux? What's going on? Right? That whole process is fucking magic.
Yeah.
It's magic. Because you can just fumble through your whole life like a pinball in a pinball machine, just being told to go wherever those paddles whack you, or you can go, I'm heading that direction with this person at a fucking rate that no one else can keep up with.
Yep. And then use the paddles just to keep you in check.
That's right. That's right. And it's like I have a scope that is continuing to narrow in on the thing that I want, and I am making sure that I am heading that direction. So much so that when that bad idea comes into my mind, or that chick at the races wearing a shirt too short comes and talks to me, I can be like, oh, fucking who are you?
Yeah.
Who are you?
Yeah.
I'm heading this direction. You don't even know what that looks like, you know? And it's like that is fucking magic. When you realize that is everyone's human potential to be that fucking focused and that dialed in. And like I have this conversation all the time with anyone who have it with me, to be honest, is are we unique or are we the best version of what is our capacity?
Interesting question.
Can everyone be like this? You know, because the momentum of this like attitude gains over time.
Yep.
The more little wins that I have and the more failures that I learn from, the more I want to win and fail.
Yeah.
The more I want to fail and learn and then win more and then cool, okay, we'll take this, what we know, and we'll apply it over here. Okay, that didn't quite work. We're going to apply it over here. Fuck, that worked. Do more of that. Oh, sweet. And then like if you look at how I make decisions, the speed that I make them and how I apply them now compared to when I was writing these 3 years ago, dude, that guy's retarded.
Yeah.
You know, and in all honesty, this guy right now,
He's retarded.
yeah, just not as much.
Exactly.
Right? So you go, okay, does it take a single moment where you go, I'm going to be a savage, that's it. I'm just going to be the best. Or is that something that is in us?
Yeah. I think, just my 2 cents on that, I think it is in all of us, but I feel like you have to get to a certain point to want to change your life. Whether you use like negative situations as a driver to push you in a positive direction, or whether you choose positive drivers to push you.
Yep.
Because that's something I've definitely did at the beginning. I thrive in stress.
Yeah, okay.
Stress created growth for me.
Yep.
Come to find that out now. But back then, it was just like, fuck, always stress. I need to fucking, relax. But, understanding myself more is that, like this frustration emotion that's popping up now, that stress back then is growth.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'd put that pressure and create a stressful environment to grow.
To accelerate the growth.
But now it's just like, okay, well, I don't need to create that stressful environment for me to want to accelerate the growth. Why not just chase the growth?
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's the same thing, but it's just looking from one end of the barrel to the other.
Yeah.
You know? You sort of go, what's the analogy there? I think because I'm very much the same. I like create unreasonable expectations for myself and then expect to grow up into it.
Yep.
And yeah, it's weird because sometimes, you put yourself under stress for so long and you do grow, but it's like the byproduct is I'm deteriorating at the same time.
Yeah.
So you go, okay, how do we still create that vacuum of expectation, fill the gap
without that negative emotion.
Yeah, without the fire underneath me burning my ass.
Exactly, because you're just putting a handbrake on yourself.
Yeah.
By calling it stress. Like, it's not stress. It feels like it.
Yeah.
But it's actually, it's a positive.
Yeah, it's a growing pain.
Yeah, that stress is not negative stress.
Yeah.
It's like going to the gym and creating stress on your muscles. Yes, it fucking hurts.
Yeah.
But that stress on the muscle is creating growth. And if you look at it like, oh, fuck, I've got to go to the gym again to fucking stress myself out. It's just like, no, fuck yeah, we're going to grow,
Yeah,
baby.
I want to do that, yeah. Yeah, it's funny actually, like I always talk about like the skills of your life with the analogy of like, if you like, I want to get bigger legs, but all I do when I go to the gym is bicep curls. Yeah, and then 6 months later, you're looking at your legs and you're like, why are my arms huge?
Yeah.
You know, it's like, all right, so what you've been doing in your business is you have been going like, I want better systems, and then just churning the day to day without ever making systems.
Exactly.
Making systems is a skill. Continuing to make sure that they're followed is a skill. And like any skill, I've never played squash before. I'm going to go play squash next week. No. I expect to be shit at it.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't expect to be good. I don't expect to be like, oh, I'm a fucking squash player. I got all the equipment. I know what I'm doing. I don't know anything about squash. I'm going to go be new at it.
Yep.
And that's the same in your business. If you go, okay, I know that there's this massive gap in our business, and sometimes you don't even know what the gap is.
Yeah.
Said it before.
Yeah.
We don't know what we don't know.
Yep.
So if you need to sit down with someone who's been in business 10 minutes longer than you and say, hey man, like, we've got our product as this, and here's how we deliver it, and here's what we expect, and here's what the customer can expect from us. But I just find that like we're not making any money, or like it takes us longer to deliver this than what I thought, and it should take this long. You might find someone looks at it and go, oh yeah, because you have no standard operating practices.
Yeah.
Or because you need an extra person. Or because you're not charging enough.
And sometimes it's just so simple.
Yeah.
The answer to your problem, but you'll never find that if you don't create the environment to find it.
That's right. And when you find out what it is, don't expect that you know how to solve it.
Exactly.
You know?
Yep.
One big thing is like charge more. I can't possibly charge more. Why is that? Have you ever done it? Nah, but I think that I know that my customers, how do you know?
Yeah.
Dude, just charge more.
Yeah.
Just charge more. I mean, the great example of like, you know, I'm so fucking busy. I don't have any time.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, okay, raise your prices 20%. Oh, I couldn't. Why? Because I'll lose customers.
But then you'll gain time.
You have more time. And the people that you lose are probably the customers you don't want anyway, because they're racing to the bottom customers.
Yep.
Right? Like that is fully a skill. And then every 6 months or every 12 months, raise your prices. Give yourself more time, make more money, dude. And if you don't lose any customers, heaven forbid, you're just making more money out of nowhere.
Yep.
Sweet. Now we don't have to worry about fuel prices.
Exactly. Yeah.
Good shit. You know? Yeah. That concept of like that cross analogy of just like don't go to the gym and train arms and expect your legs to get bigger.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And it's a skill to be self-aware enough as well to understand that, hey, I don't know what I'm doing. I need to put myself in an environment of people that do know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Or just make that higher, raise my prices to create more time. The list goes on and on. So it's a skill.
Yeah.
It's a skill to learn.
Yeah. Yeah. And not being scared of the new skill. I need to take a piss, bro. I'm about to piss my pants. I've got up more in this podcast than any podcast ever.
Another promotion. Is this the longest you've ever gone for, or?
It'll be top 10. It'll be top 5.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Usually, people tend to drop off. Like, I mean, yeah. As a host, I'm like watching for like when the person's sort of like a bit distracted and time to, because a lot of people can't talk for like over 90 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Without sort of crashing and burning and not really like answering questions without adding value.
Yeah.
You know, you sort of get to that just like one sentence answer and they're like,
yeah. See, I find I get like that. I do yeah, and answer, but I'm still thinking, even though I don't know what I look like. Does it look like I'm checking out or?
Nah, you do the same thing as me. You look off and like go into your own world for a second and then come back.
Yeah, like I'm thinking.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, because some things that you'll say will be like, oh fuck, like I haven't thought about it in that way before. But like, I love listening.
Yeah.
Especially hearing you talk, because that's how I get my energy, like that inspiration kind of thing. Like even fuck, being in those rooms in Adelaide, fuck, I love it. Like, that is just, I live for that.
Yeah, you
That
get G'd up.
Oh, man. Yeah, after that, fuck, I come home and I'm just like, let's go fucking kill something.
Yeah. You're in Entourage, aren't you?
No. So, but that Jack DeLosa has hit me up.
Right.
But no, because, which I probably might explore that, but at the moment I'm with Mojo, Human Performance.
Yep.
So Michael Mojo, he works in like leadership, like growing your leadership skills. More of a like a mindset approach in terms of like thinking differently, like frameworks to think, dealing with people for your team, and obviously to do with business. So there's a lot of business people in there, but it's more on that. It's more based around people.
Okay.
So, which I found that huge for me. Because when I'd first signed up for that, because I've been with it for a year. Yeah, a year. This will be going on the second year.
Yeah.
That first year, I was such a fucking small fish in that room. Still am. I'll admit that. But, yeah, because when I originally was there, I was like, fuck yeah, I need to hire someone. Like, I was ready to hire 2-3 people. I was like, fuck yeah, we're growing. And then it just peeled it back. It peeled me back to like think, okay, well, actually, let's have a look. What are we really doing here, Rara? And then so much happened in that first year. Like, I think, well, one, I didn't hire anyone until September last year.
Yeah.
So, but when I did make that hire with Dylan, my communication skills with him, you just have to verify that with him, I feel like were pretty top tier in comparison to what it would have been had I not
of course
done that.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. And then, where do you begin for like a whole year of growth? But like I ended up changing so much in business in terms of say like prices, how I did things, bit of systems, whatnot. And then I actually ended up culling about 50% of my client base.
Wow.
But like just in perspective, because I was on my own, I was doing about 30K months.
Yep.
And I was like, fuck yeah, we're going hard, this, that, the other. But, you know, come to the end, I was like, fuck, mate, fuck all.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck are we doing here? Running flat out. Anyway, I got to that point where I raised my price at culled like 50%. And I think that month I made 10K, and I was just like, what the fuck? But I was like, okay, now I've got all this time. Yeah. Like what we were saying before. And then just building. And then the month after that, I was straight back up, 30, and then more.
Yeah, 30, 35, 40. Yeah.
And then I was like, so it was just a huge unlock in terms of just like my mental capacity, my decision making, my communication style, like, yeah. And so there's that aspect. So that's when you're there, just a whole unlock of the mindset, leadership kind of thing.
Yep.
But going back to being in the room with like all these other like monsters in there.
Yeah.
Listening to their stories, like what you say, you find out, you know, they're just average guys.
Yeah.
They're just average guys, just doing cool shit.
Yep. And
when I'm there, like, because you go out to lunch and then dinners with them, and you kind of like mingle, you make mates with who you can relate to. Yeah. When they're talking, my mouth is just shut, and I'm just listening and just soaking it up to the point. One of them, Riley, said to me, he's like, mate, are you going to talk to us? Like, do you not like us? Yeah. And I was just like, mate, I've got fucking no, I feel like I've got no value to add here. So I'm just being a sponge and just soaking up all your learnings. Yeah. Like, and it's just mad. Like, coming back home, then I'm just like, let's take on the world.
Yeah, there's I think there's two elements to that. One, I get the same from, I'm not sure if you know about it. We got like a little closed door monthly thing. There's 6 of us, 6 young people in business, and it stemmed from the Young People in Business walk. Yeah.
Hectic.
And we sort of realized that we all had the same intention of wanting to like dig into things and also be sitting down, no interruptions, closed door.
Yep.
we can be transparent with numbers and situations, and it's a safe environment.
Yep.
We do that once a month, and you leave there wanting to fucking take over the town.
Yep.
Because there's just something about other people. You're like, oh, I'm not the weirdo.
Yep.
Like, I'm very weird in my environment. I feel like my mind is everything. And most of the time I'm communicating with people that their physical reality is everything.
Yeah.
You know, and like when you get into this room, you're like, oh, these fucking savages are just the same as me.
Yeah.
You know, like one of them the other day was telling us how they were scrolling on Marketplace and seen this person selling this business for next to nothing, and they bought it. And they were telling us like how much money it makes and what the involved thing is. And you're like, that's fucking crazy. It's so smart, like to see the potential and buy it and do this. And straight away, you're like, that's exactly the shit that I'm doing.
Yeah.
You know, and as in not buying, but like seeing things and going like, oh, that has that capacity. You could do this, that, and the other with it. Yep. Whereas most people are just, you know, watching puppy videos and shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's also the element of getting out of your natural space.
Yes.
So when you go somewhere, and you, especially if you think about business while you're going somewhere, you always come back ready to trim fat and build on top of it.
100%.
There's something about that.
Yep.
You know, like when I went to Lebanon last year, mind you, wasn't for business. I came back so hungry.
Yeah.
You know, and just immediately I'm like, right, this, and this, we don't do that shit anymore. And this, we're doing more of that.
Yeah.
And like a month later, you look at the bottom line, you're like, oh, look at it fucking
skyrocket.
Yeah.
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 And
yeah.
Yeah. That's one of the things that Liana's actually added tremendous value into my life, is that taking holidays, like, because I fucking never used to go on holidays anywhere. But so once a year, I say try, but we have been so far, go to just out of the country, like Bali usually, because it's fucking only 3-hour trip. We can go there for 2-3 weeks at a time and just like actually reflect. Like, we're not going getting pissed every night or whatever the fuck. It's just like, wake up, we still go to the gym, still go for our breakfast, we have got these conversations, and then we can relax and enter a state of just like thought and like same like the conversations on Sunday, but just there's more time in a different mind frame. So there's not all these other external pressures where that might influence your decision making. So you're relaxed and you're just like, this is where we want to get to.
Yeah. Yeah, there's definitely like we're very much the same now. We're like, we don't know when, but it's like there's going to be 10 days off at the beginning of the year, and there's probably going to be like a big break at the end of the year, because the past 5 years have just been, the papers have been in the air the whole time. You don't know, you know, I don't know. It's sort of weird when everything's riding on your decision making. You go like, hey, I know you want a holiday, I do too, but I also don't want to say, let's do it now. And then you get the phone call the next day, hey, can you print 5,000 shirts for this thing? And you're like, fuck the holiday, we need to go back.
Yeah.
You know? But the reality is you need to take the holiday and you need to say no to that opportunity because another one will come up.
Yep, 100%.
You know? And like that, dude, even saying no to shit that doesn't quite fit into the criteria of an ideal customer breaks my heart still.
Oh, yeah, 100%. I still struggle with saying no sometimes, but you have to do it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I mean, yesterday, prime example, right? Someone messages me, someone from my like deep past, known this person for ages.
Yep.
They say, hey, can I get a quote for this shirt back in front, that shirt back in front, this hood back in front, that hood back in front? I'm like, yeah, cool. You know, anticipating that they're going to get, 10 of each or something.
Yep.
I said, cool, this is this. They said, sweet. So that'd be a total of, and it was like $211 plus GST. I'm like, oh, you're getting one of each. Yeah, so that would be a total of $211 plus GST. And they're like, sweet, here's our artwork, AI generated.
Nice. Can't remember that.
Well, I can, but it's like if I bought light switches off Temu and asked you to put them in.
Yeah,
you can do it.
Yeah, but you're just like, fuck you, because you already know the quality of it.
Right. And also it means that I have to probably do more work than I typically would and whatever. So I was like, okay, cool. And they're like, yeah, and it's not quite how we want it. So are you able to like edit this part of it? And it's like, well, because it's from AI, it's a flat image and I can't edit it. And that's why I prefer not AI stuff, but all good. And you sort of like get to a point where like, all right, so we're not meeting minimum spend. Mm-hmm. You want me to edit your artwork, and given that you've done it on AI, you probably think you're not going to understand when I charge you $200 an hour to do it.
Yep.
Because you're like, well, why would it cost you? You know,
you can just get AI to do it, but they don't understand.
And then so we're gonna not reach a minimum. You're probably not gonna want to pay the editing fee. And then on top of that, let's say we do get over the minimum spend. I'm then gonna have to set up 4 different times for 4 different garments, the same artwork on each. I've already had to put more time into the art. We're gonna do all of that, and I have to deliver it to you because obviously
For that price.
for that price.
Yeah.
And then Carmelo comes along and says, "Hey, can I get 6 long sleeves, 6 short sleeve? I need 4 hoods. I need 2 jackets and 9 pairs of pants because I got a new bloke and I want the other blokes to have this." Right?
Yep.
Same amount of setup time. Also, doesn't give a fuck about the price. And if I say, "Oh, actually, we're doing this a bit different with your logo, so I'm gonna have to spend half an hour on it," okay.
Yep.
When's it gonna be ready?
Yeah, just get it done.
ETA, right? And it's so hard to how many times do you have the conversation with a customer who doesn't understand?
Yeah.
You just have to go, no.
Yep.
I can't do that. I can, I don't want to, and I'm not going to, you know? And it's like, regardless, and now it turns into a maturity of like psychology, I guess. Because, the amount of times that I've heard like, "Oh, I'm going to be ordering heaps in the future by missing out on this. You're going to be missing out on heaps." It's like, okay, come to me when you've got heaps.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's skip this stage. Go fuck around with someone else. One of the big printers who likes doing $20 jobs at a time.
Yep.
And then when you're at the big stage, we'll talk. I built my whole system for big shit.
Yeah.
Yep. And they never come back, and they don't even do the first step.
Exactly.
And I'm not saying this person who messaged me yesterday is having that conversation, but it's like, as an example, like, am I then meant to give 15 minutes to writing the nice text message to explain why I don't want to do it? It's just like, it's not really for us.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it's almost like when builders go, "Oh yeah, we've got 5 other houses that we're doing. Hence, can you make your price cheaper?" It's like, maybe once we've got to the 5th house, I can work something out then. But until then, this is the price for this house.
The bare butt in the fucking shower.
Yeah,
that's crazy. The thing, because I'm going to look after you later. It's like, I don't know your surname. I don't know you.
Yeah, and if you're not willing to look after me now, why? Like, what guarantees that you're going to look after me in the future?
Yeah, and I think also it's like, it's actually offensive to me to ask for a cheaper price when I've set the price. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I always call it a get out of bed price, right? So there are things that I just straight up don't want to do.
Yep.
But if you said, "I'll give you $500 to do it," I get out of bed for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll do it for $500, right? So, hey, I've got this hoodie that I need printed before the end of the day. All right, we don't print supplied stuff. We're not doing it before the end of the day.
Yeah.
I'll give you $200.
Definitely not.
Give me $300. If you give me $300, I'll do it. Fuck yeah, I'll give you $300. I'll bring it around right now. Yep, bring it around. I'll turn the printer on. We'll do the editing. We'll fuck around, right? The job's going to take me an hour to do. I'll do it for an hour for $300, right? So there is that get out of bed value along the way, right? Now, on the other end of that spectrum, this is the price because, if we're going to go into it, I started charging people, $30. I think I started at $20 for a shirt printed on the front and back, regardless of what you get, right? Yeah. So, and at the time I was like, man, I'm making a good portion of that 20. It's all good. I know the prints cost me this on the front, they cost me this on the back, they cost me this for the labor. I'm making enough money to justify this, right? So I used to go $20 fixed rate, including GST, right? That same shirt today, if you get a print on the front, small, and on the back, large, it's $42 plus GST. So it's more than double.
Yeah.
It's actually way more than double, right? Now, if you come and go, "Oh, yeah, but I'm going to get 10 of them, so I can do it 35 each." No, right? The reason that it's $42 plus GST is because I started at 20 and then I got jibbed and then did all this work, and then someone said, "Oh, but the print is a little bit too low and I actually wanted it bigger and this is the wrong color and that," and all of a sudden helping people out and doing something that no other print shop would do at the time has bitten me on the ass.
Yeah.
And it's actually cost me money, right? So then I charged $25 and I'm like, right, that will cover all those bases. I make an extra $5 per tee.
Yeah, killing it.
Every 100 tees I do, I make an extra $500, right? Like, this is fucking sick. And then you realize that some people then go, "Oh, I can be as big as it wants. I want it as big as possible on the front and back."
Yep.
Well, now it's costing me the extra $5 anyway.
Yep.
Okay, let's go to the model. The shirt is $20 and a front print is $4 and the back print is $9.
Yep.
Small on the front, big on the back. And you do that for a while and you realize there's a problem in that. And now the reason that it costs $42, which is whatever the shirt is that I buy it for, plus a percentage of income, plus the base cost of your artwork setup, plus the cost of the print, plus the cost of the other print. The reason that is the way it is because I fucked up all the other ways and it has to be this.
Yep.
And next year it's going to be more expensive.
Yep.
It's going to be.
Yep.
So when you ask me, can I have it cheaper? You're not asking for a cheaper product. You're questioning the intellect it took for me to get to where I am.
Yeah. Yep.
No, it's not going to be cheaper.
Yeah.
It's not going to be cheaper.
Yep.
Right? And I'm sorry, but that's how it has to be. And I'm better off saying no 10 times to get to the 11th question that I answer yes and make the right money on.
Yep.
Than making less money on every job before I get there to then not be able to take on the yes that I want because I'm too busy doing the shit I don't want to do.
Yes. Yeah, correct.
Dude, that shit's so fucking hard to learn and then put into practice.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know? And it's you only ever get the bullshit jobs come your way when you have spare time and you're like, yeah, I'll sneak it in.
Exactly. Yeah. Because you're like, oh, actually, no, I can actually fit that in.
Yeah.
So why not? It'll just be like cream on the top, and then you're just like,
it's not cream.
fuck.
It's not cream.
It's just a fucking turd.
Yeah, it is. It is. And all of a sudden you're going like, oh, I can add an extra $200 on this week's bloody.
Yeah.
It's not. It's like
can I get a cheaper price for cash?
Yeah. Yeah.
Dude.
What are we doing?
Yeah, what are we doing?
But yeah, that sort of like business acumen only comes with experience and time and like burning both of your hands at once and realizing now I can't pick up the fork to feed myself. Yeah. You know?
Pain.
Yeah.
And that's what creates the growth, the change.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly right. And it's funny because when you're at the start and you're asking your mentors, they're like, so where are you making money? And you're like, oh, I make the little bit here. They're like, double or triple that.
Yeah.
Otherwise, why are you doing it? And you're like, well, because if I'm making any money, it's good. No, you're going to crash and burn and not have any money to do what you need to do.
Yep.
Make more money. Nah. And you go away 12 months later, you're like, I need to double what I'm making. Otherwise, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
You know? And dude, I still have, like I had a client. It was one of my bigger clients because of the price. They ordered like 100 shirts at $20 a piece way back when.
Yep.
And they came to me the other day and they're like, hey, can we order the exact same order, please? And I was like, yeah, sure. And I sent him the quote. And because of the volume and because it was a small print on, I think it was like the sleeve and the front, I think it was like $32 a shirt.
Yep.
Like $32 a shirt. And they're like, how'd your price go up so much? And I'm like, oh, actually, because I wasn't profitable back then.
Yeah.
And now I am profitable, you know, and we actually deliver a heaps better service and product now because we actually do all our prints in-house rather. They're like, oh, well, we'll just go to the competition. Okay.
Yeah.
Go to the competition. You know, I don't know what they offer. I don't know if it's even the same as what I do.
Exactly.
You know,
Yeah,
and it's like, what are the competition charging, by the way? And they said 31.
It's almost like, cool.
You're treating me like a piece of shit because I'm not giving you 20 when the competition is 31.
Yeah.
What did you say the competition when you found out they were 31, you expected I was 20? Oh, I'll go to the competition.
Yeah.
Dude, this isn't about the product. This is about you winning.
Yep.
Go somewhere else and win. I don't care.
Yep.
I do not care.
It's not worth time.
Yeah. And again, you have that conversation, you have that email exchange or that phone call, and then you go and sit down on the couch. You're like, oh, am I doing the right thing?
Yeah.
You know?
And you then have an internal conversation, which then takes up your bandwidth as well.
That's right.
So it's just like, that no, it's just like, it's just got to be clean. Just say, nah, it just doesn't fit into what we do now.
Yeah. Yeah. And then also getting good at not having it exercise any bandwidth to justify yourself to yourself.
Yeah.
You know?
Just looking at it like it is what it is.
Yeah. Yeah. And also sometimes you can translate a no into a win for yourself because you're like, I just saved myself
correct
from the fuck around. You know? We had another one just recently. Dude comes to me, hey, you got this artwork generated on AI. It was very cool artwork actually. And to relate it back to what we were talking about before, it was using the new bitmap process that I've taught myself.
Yep.
I'm like, this is perfect for that.
Cool.
Get to exercise that. We'll do that. I allow 15 minutes of artwork time for any job. So whether you're a repeat customer, new customer, I allow 15 minutes to get your artwork, assess it, make any changes that need to be made, size it, put it on a print sheet ready. And then we know that from that first test print, before we even put it on anything, it prints right, the size is right, the colors are right, it's good to go. Send by the time we invoice, process, print, everything's good.
Red and roll.
I spent 45 minutes on the phone with this person, sharing my screen, designing their shit for them. I then spent another 2.5 hours getting their artwork dialed in, which is like processing it, taking it out, running a print, oh no, bit wrong, come back inside, change it, process it, run a print, did that 3 times, 2.5 hours. They ended up going ahead with an order which was like 9 tees and 1 hoodie.
Yeah.
Right? And then invoiced them, paid it, got all the stuff in. And then it was the day that their prints were in line to be printed. So typically what happens is while your stuff is in transit from the supplier to us, which usually takes 7 to 10 days, we get everything ready. So the day that it arrives or the day before, we're printing everything off so that basically the day it arrives within 24 hours, it's delivered to the customer.
Yep.
So at the moment, the guys are putting together stuff that I printed yesterday, but the garments got in got in yesterday as well, right?
Yeah.
So we're typically running on the day every day.
Yep.
And I get this message, and it's like, hey, just checking in. All I'm seeing on Instagram is you're posting all of these other jobs, and just like, if you haven't already started mine, can I just get a refund?
Yeah,
you get a refund.
Yeah.
Brother, I've given you... like the multiplier of how much time I've spent on your artwork before making any money is so exponential, right? The garments have been ordered and have arrived. I gave you a 45-minute sharing my screen, building your products.
Yep.
I have applied a new technique that I've literally just learned and is so perfect for your shit and is going to give you a really good result, right? Your goods arrived yesterday. Your prints are ready to go today.
Yep.
I post every day because I'm promoting my business.
Yeah.
It's called marketing.
Yeah.
Right? If you did get a refund, to send your stuff back to the supplier, put it back on the shelf and pay for the time that I've invested into this, you wouldn't get much change out of what you've already spent.
Yeah.
But you can't say any of that to the customer.
No.
Because he doesn't give
a fuck.
He doesn't give a fuck whether you get 15 minutes normally and I got 2.5 hours. That's on you. He doesn't give a fuck about the 45-minute call. He doesn't know that's unusual. Yep. He doesn't give a fuck about the bit mapping process that I've just learned, right? He doesn't give a fuck about Riz being on the couch for the past 3 weeks because she's been sick and I've been looking after everything.
Yep.
He gives a fuck about I paid for something, I didn't get it, what's going on? Just give me my money back.
Yeah.
And here's me reading. I actually woke up, couldn't get back to sleep at 3 o'clock in the morning, so I just went to work and I wake up to that message and I'm sitting on the bench out here 3 o'clock in the morning crying into my phone.
Yeah.
Like, bro, are you fucking kidding? Are you fucking kidding?
Yeah.
So
I can tell you.
I sent him a picture of like a test result of like a sample print of one of the tests. I'm like, dude, we're like right there. I've literally just got to print it and press it today.
Yeah.
And he just sent back, oh, that looks sick. Yeah, go ahead. Bro.
Yeah. So it's like the energy that's taken from you. You're
Talk
just
about bandwidth. Like the sun's not even up yet. I've used half of my day's energy.
Yep.
Just managing like, how am I going to respond to this?
Yeah.
You know? And again, you know, that's one of those things. Now I look back at that, and when he messaged me, hey, what's going on? I should have just messaged back and said, yeah, dude, we're about halfway through the job. It'll be ready by the end of the day.
Yeah.
You know, completely extinguish all of that. Like, don't let the truth.
Just disarm.
Yeah.
Go, this is where we're at.
Because like I if I'm him, I don't give a fuck about your missus or how long you took or like I paid you. Can you do it?
Yeah.
Okay, because it seems like you can't do it, and I'm seeing you do everyone else's. Yeah. I get where they're coming from.
Yeah.
But also, I get from the fucking trenches that I'm living in of being in business and trying to keep everything afloat, spinning the plates.
Yeah.
You know? It's hard.
Yep.
It's bloody hard.
And what do you use to manage your bandwidth? Like in terms of, maybe I need to phrase that better, like in terms of, say like, because you're up early, you're doing that, you get a message like that, how do you transition? Because obviously you got to put on different hats, or you got to change your identity for the moment that you're doing. You're like, okay, I'm printing shirts, I'm just this, now I'm customer support.
Yeah.
How do you find yourself transitioning between those two roles? Is there any tools that you use?
Time.
Time?
I use time, yeah. So typically if I have a negative response to something that someone said, I put as much time as like feasibly possible respectively. So I don't respond to it in 6 weeks.
Yep. Yeah.
but I also don't respond to it in 6 seconds.
Yep.
And I'm very good at isolating the trigger of like, I can almost tell you when I'm having cortisol go from my mind into my stomach.
Yep.
You know, and I'm just like, if I see the message, I don't even read the whole thing. I like put the phone down.
Yep.
I'm like, cool. I'm going to unlock my phone without looking at that and let it just be an unread message.
Yeah.
Step 1. Step number 2 is always like you have to balance the negativity with positivity, right? So in that instance, I can't call a friend who I know is having a hard time and make their day better.
Yeah.
Right? Which is what I need.
Yeah.
I give that to someone else. That's a way of balancing. I've got a chin-up bar in the workshop.
Yep.
I do chin-ups until I can't.
Yeah, got you.
Get rid of all the fucking...
Exhaust that out physically.
Yeah.
Yep.
The problem is at 3 o'clock in the morning, you're extremely vulnerable.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I know he's messaging me on night shift, so he's going to reply straight away.
Yeah.
In all honesty, I dealt with that very poorly. And as a part of a bigger... To understand the picture a bit bigger, that period of like 3 weeks that Riz has been sick and I've been doing everything myself, I've essentially burnt myself out.
Yeah, 100%. As expected.
Yeah.
Because you're running at 50%, but still trying to go 100%.
That's right. Turned off all my marketing. I just basically everything I had booked in for that day, I just messaged everyone and said, I don't care. No, don't worry. Off you go. Anything that sort of needed to be done was prioritized and only the top 3 things got done that day. Like Friday was actually an implosion day for me and it all started with this and I dealt with this how I would not normally deal with that situation.
Yeah.
Like if that happened to me right now, I'd just be like, fucking, that's maybe even tomorrow's problem.
Yeah, got ya.
You know? But also, just like usually doing something for someone else that I need done for me, step 1.
Yep.
Exercise some sort of difficulty, and sometimes that's like let me look at the most difficult task on my agenda to do for the day and do that.
So it just absorbs your whole mental capacity in that.
Well, it's like sometimes you get so overwhelmed about how hard this actually easy job can be that you do something hard and you look back at that, you're like, fucking dude, that's wiping my ass. I can do that.
Yeah.
That's easy, you know? So I think deflection to a certain point. And also, it's like maintaining the understanding that you are someone who's in the middle of the abyss with no guaranteed result and understanding that like there is no correct thing to do right now. There's no incorrect thing to do. There are bad ways to deal with this.
Yep.
There are good ways to deal with this. But sometimes just being caught in the crossfire of not knowing what to do is the most salvation you can get from a thing, right? And typically when I'm in that situation, it's like whatever you think the thing to do is, don't do that.
Yeah.
You know, I want to scream, I want to get Riz out of bed. Can you fucking believe this cunt? I want to call him up and fucking, dude, fuck you, you know?
Yeah.
But
no point.
The best thing I can do right now, and in that instance would have been, I'm out in the workshop to print, just print, print, you know, and just do all your checks, right? Is this on? That's on. Cool. Is that tracking right? Do we need to do this? Can we clean that? What can we do while we're awake? Don't turn the vacuum cleaner on at 3 o'clock. We're going to, you know what I mean? Like go through that sort of thing. So I think that like management of negative bandwidth is such a huge skill to get good at and continue to practice.
Yeah.
Because I think more often than not in business, you're going to have things that are going to challenge you in ways you didn't think were viable.
100%.
And then when you're in it, it's so easy just to succumb to whatever your mind tells you to do.
Yep.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what do you find is effective for you in that situation?
Like what you say, time's a big one. But stepping into the shoes of the customer to go, okay, like he didn't get back to me, like say I didn't get back to someone, or just trying to think of an example. We had an inspection, pre-purchase inspection for a property that we were doing.
Right.
That I didn't do personally, but again, the team is an extension of me. So
yeah,
the fault lies with me. So anyway, that got done, but there was a question that wasn't asked in regards to a part of an inspection that got missed. And with these inspections, you got to be on the ball in terms of time frames with getting it, because that can affect the sale.
Right.
Like it could make or break a sale, pretty much. Now, granted, I'm going to list some excuses.
Yeah.
But again, I'm aware that these are excuses, but they contributed to the problem. The communication happened on an old email account that is no longer used, which has been sent to this, and they've been informed that this is now new communication channel. So by the time we got to it to do the job, it was late. Like it was tight schedule.
Right.
So fault, ours. Then to do it, Dylan probably felt a bit of pressure because we were running behind, and we didn't do our usual step-by-step checks, questions, Anyway, come to it. So I submit the report. I didn't pick up that question hadn't been asked. But again, time, pressure, here's your report, cool. Then when they pick it up, they sent that, hey, what's this about on the old email?
Oh.
Missed.
Yeah.
Again, I should have picked that up.
Yeah.
I should have been on the ball with that. But again, you've got 50,000 other things happening, excuses. So with that in particular, when I got this email that was like, I was like, okay, let me just pause, because I've got 50 million excuses that I could pour into this email right now.
Yeah.
But let me pause and step into your shoes at the moment.
Yep.
What happened? Well, we hit you up with an email fucking well before that the property was going to sell, and no one got back to me.
Yeah.
I could have called you, but again, I didn't. I sent the email as far as we know, and in the past, you receive the emails, you get it done, send it back. We sent you follow-up emails, no response. So, okay, you followed up with us, we still haven't responded with you. Me as a customer, this is pissing me off now. Then we finally get this report out of fucking some miracle after not hearing from you.
Yep.
And we find this. What the fuck's going on with this? So we hit you up again. What happened? Then we've got no response.
Yeah.
So now we've had to contact some other people to do it, because now we're running out of time.
Yeah.
And then by the time you've seen this, it's too late.
Yeah.
So what do I got to do? Sorry. That's all I can do. Apologise.
Yeah,
This
failure.
Yeah, terrible. I'll admit to that. This should have been a question that was asked. It didn't ask. Apologise greatly. We'll take this into the future. P.S. For all future communications, can you please make sure every department in your team has this new email? And here is also my mobile number personally.
Yep.
If you can't reach anyone, feel free to ring it.
Yeah.
If it gets to a stage like it did now.
Yep.
And then the email I got back was fine. Completely understanding.
Yeah.
So I think for me, it's hard to do. It's hard to do because it's just like, fuck, I've already given you a communication channel that you should have had to, you've had for years now. Because I know you have, because certain people in the team have been messaging me on that.
Yep.
So, 50 million excuses, but it's just not. It doesn't mean anything to them.
Yeah, so there's so many angles on that, right? A, forwarding service on the old email address.
Yeah.
Right? B, under no circumstances time come into it. Like, unfortunately, that's just how it is.
Yeah.
Like, even we've got a job at the moment that's being put together. They ordered it last Wednesday for tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's not enough time.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't get done on time, it's not my fault.
Yeah.
Like, we're a 10 to 14 day turnaround, period.
Yep.
You can pay for express. You can do everything you want. I can stay up late doing the prints. If something fucking happens, something happens.
Yeah.
Right? Also, from their point of view, how many times do I need to communicate, bro, before I go, I need a mobile. I need, I'm a critical thinking human that doesn't just go, the email didn't get through.
Yeah. I know.
Right? Then also, the whole aspect from your point of view, if you're then you then stand back and go, okay, customer's point of view, action 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 4 of them are bad. That's more than half. I need to take an L. I take an L.
Yeah.
Might cost me money.
Yeah.
Hopefully it doesn't cost me a client. Hopefully it doesn't cost me a Google review, but I'm going to take an L. And I'm going to do what I need to do to take that as gracefully as possible.
Yep.
Right? Then, I mean, we're sort of like, it's a conflict resolution / internal acceptance of what happened.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
100%.
because I've gone to sleep plenty of times with a knot in my stomach.
Just going,
I could have done that better.
Yep.
Didn't really perform well there. But, I mean, it's the same as there's quite a influential figure here in town that I used to work for under a certain context, I guess you could say. And that ended with like them yelling at me in their business in front of customers saying, you know, you're not fucking listening, you're too arrogant, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was 4 years ago. I ran into him at the races on Saturday. And we've been jovial with each other since. We've probably had about half a dozen instances of running into each other, typically on the piss as well.
Yeah.
And it's always been like friendly, you know. It's always like me with a thought in the back of my mind of like, yeah, you yelled at me in front of people, all good, but whatever. Anyway, at the races, I put him to one side. I'm like, hey, I'm only bringing it up because, you know, it hasn't been brought up yet, but I'll fucking prove you wrong.
Yeah.
He's like, what do you mean? I'm like, well, when you told me that I'm too arrogant and that I'm not going to fucking make it in business if I don't pull my head in and blah, blah, blah. And he goes, I don't remember saying that.
Yeah. Half the time they don't,
Cousin, I dreamt about it for years.
Yeah.
Like the amount of times it came up in my journal, right, is crazy. Like, do you understand? Like, that was a formative experience.
Yeah, you left an
He's
imprint
like,
on me.
oh man, well, if anything, it worked out for the better, right? And you're like, yeah, it did.
Yeah.
I am now a different person because of that for the better. Because now I listen to the customer, because that was one of the big things. I wasn't listening to what they wanted. I was delivering something different than what they paid me to do.
Yep.
And B, I don't ever let a situation get to a point where someone can yell at me.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Because physically, I'd fuck you up if I wanted to. That's number one.
Yeah.
Right? And number two, I listen to the first negative interaction before we get to the 15th interaction that lets someone feel like that's okay. Like I've walked over you calmly, I'm pretty sure I could yell at you and you'd do nothing.
Yeah.
You know, now when someone walks over me calmly, it's like I walk back over them calmly.
Yeah.
You know, it's like I understand the play for play. Like this is what men do and this is what businessmen do especially. It's like, all good. I'm a big dog. You know, I don't make as much money as you, but I definitely know how to bark.
Yeah.
You know? And that's, again, that only comes from being yelled at.
Yeah.
Like,
and you take that, like, well, I take it anyway, as a learning.
Yeah.
Like, fuck, okay, we fucked up here, and here. There's no point in saying, well, here, this is where you fucked up and what you could have done as well to help this situation. There's no point.
Yeah.
It's too much time, energy. It's just, hey, this is what we got to work on.
Yeah.
Take that back to the team, which,
I think there's sort of this thing in there as well where, like, you don't want it to get to a point where you're like, your voice is crackling as you're yelling at the top of your lungs, like, fucking, but like, you sort of want to remind people sometimes, you're like, I'm an average guy, dude.
Yeah.
You're like, I understand I'm ambitious and like, you see me as this person who does podcasts and prints and gets in front of camera and does all this, but like,
still fuck up.
I'm still just a dude who's figuring it out day by day, you know, and I'm still learning things one at a time. And all of the great parts of the experience that you're overlooking because of the negative have come from my previous fuck ups with other people.
Yeah.
You know? And it's like, it's just, I don't know, it's a weird thing. Sometimes I know when I'm right in a situation where I'm the customer and I'm dealing with a vendor, you sort of go, this should have been really fucking good, but it's very average. You know, I went to the cafe and my coffee was burnt or they forgot to put honey in it or whatever. And you're like, yeah, but you're forgetting that like this is all clean in here and that, you know, my staff are all paid and everyone's paid super and the other customers are having a good time. It's like, yeah, it is easy to overlook all that shit. I'm just, why isn't there honey in the fucking coffee?
Yeah. So it's just, then when you take a step back, it's just like, oh, it's fucking insignificant.
Yeah. It really doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny. It's funny. I feel like there's a certain element of the veil being, is that the saying? The veil being taken back or whatever. When you're in business and you get so far into business, you realize that all of life is just people in business.
Yeah.
and you are essentially realizing that you're either a producer or a consumer.
Yeah.
Right? And most people spend 100% of their life as consumers. We spend probably 40% of our life as producers.
Yep.
You know, and in that 40%, you're then trying to master the art of being a producer / vendor so that you can get more people consuming your product or service.
Yep.
You know, and then when you see that, you're like, oh, it's the essentially the transaction of life is just a value exchange between people who are willing to consume for a living versus people who are going to produce for a living.
Yeah, correct.
How nuts is that?
Nuts.
Like, the richest people in the world are also average men.
Yeah. Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yep.
Yeah. All right, let's wrap it up there, dude.
Keep talking.
I think I need a nap after this right now. I'm fucking wrecked, dude. I've already got you to promote your business, so I guess there's nothing else really. Do you have any final thoughts, questions, ideas?
Fuck, I don't know. I do, but I don't know how long. Was there anything that you wanted to touch on with me that you didn't get a chance to?
I honestly came in here knowing that we'd get to where we needed to get to.
Yeah.
I don't think so. I think the things that stood out the most are like the sort of like the environment that you have at home, given that both of you are in business. Obviously, like, do you know Dylan Giancono? He's DG,
yeah.
Yeah, and his missus is Taylor from Hush.
Okay.
Is it? Yeah, it is Hush, isn't it? Yeah, Hush.
Yeah, right.
And I always wonder, like, his business is busy, her business is busy. Like, when do you guys just have your time?
Yeah.
You know? And yeah, it always fascinates me because, like, I 100%, as much Riz works for me, she is in the business, not on the business.
Yep.
You know? And I'm very much the captain of the ship.
Yeah.
You know, we're turning left. All right, we're turning left. There's no, why? You know? I mean, there is a bit of why. I shouldn't say there's no questioning it, but there's no, like, I don't look for creative or directive input from Riz at all.
Yeah.
You know? And yeah, I'm always just fascinated by, you know, even Geordie G and Francesco and his wife, Maddie. She's very much involved in his business and like the decision making and thought process and all that. And it always fascinates me when you have two business owners in separate businesses, or two, like a business owner and her playing a very influential role in the direction of the business versus like what Riz and I have, which I feel is like I completely control the destination of the business, and then I filter down the tasks that need to be done, and I'm just like, you tell me which of these tasks need to be done.
Yeah.
You know? And yeah, sort of like how you were speaking about, you know, you've got, it doesn't sound like you have rules, but you have guardrails of like, all right, we keep this time sacred to talk about us.
Yeah.
And then the rest of the time is sort of like
Just
open slather. Yeah. Yeah. And like, dude, we have some interesting, like I would say for the first 3 years, it was very much like, I don't want to hear about black ink or anything after 5 p.m.
Yeah.
You know, there's businesses never discussed when there's a pillow around us.
Yep.
On the weekends, don't want to hear about this person coming on the podcast or that going on, blah, blah, blah. But I feel like recently it's sort of like maybe the past 6 months, she understands that like if I'm bringing it up, it's because it's burning a hole in my mind.
Yeah, got ya.
And I just need to
get it out.
Yeah,
kind of thing.
yeah. And dude, you know what's interesting? I feel like we're a bit on an island.
Yeah.
The further you get into business and the further you grow, the real relatable parts of your life and business are only with people in a similar situation to you. And even then, their situation is so unique that it's hard to really find like a pure correspondence with someone that feels valuable.
Yeah, it's like you're just taking little snippets that you can relate to.
Yeah.
Out of their lives, yeah.
And then with Riz, it's like, you know, she understands deeply like the phases of growth that I'm going through and the difficulties, you know, like how hard that hit me when he said, can I have a refund? It's like, bro, I don't not want to give you a refund because of the value exchange.
Yeah.
I don't want you to have a refund because I've genuinely given you a great product so far, and it's only because you can't physically touch it that you have a problem with it.
Yeah.
Like once you get it, you'll see, you realize.
Yeah. It's like it hasn't entered his physical like reality yet. So yeah, it's like he's fantasizing about it almost.
Yeah. And it's like now he's saying that my money is more valuable than what I'm getting from you. It's like, trust me, it's a very, very equal value exchange, if not falls onto your benefit more than mine.
Yeah.
You know? But again, I mean, I had a customer the other day. He got a scan of tattoo artwork, right? So someone had drawn physically with watercolors. This thing is like, I want this on a shirt. I'm like, look, dude, there's a couple ways we can do this, and all of them, like both of those ways are expensive.
Yep.
I said, but look, I'm going to leave it on my fuck around worksheet because I've got a digital worksheet that if it's interesting, I'll chuck it on there. And if the mood arises and I just need something to escape, I'll jump on that and I'll just fuck around and make some shapes. And so let me leave it on the fuck around worksheet. We'll see what happens. So he hits me up 2 weeks later. He's like, hey, bro, I know it's hard. I've already talked to some other people about vectorizing it, this and that. I said, no. Actually, I did 10 minutes work on your shit the other day, and there's another hour ahead of me to lock it in.
Yep.
But leave it with me because I'll lock it in. Yeah. I'm confident I'll fucking dial in. And he goes, nah, I don't. Look, if it's going to cost money, I'm happy to pay. Like, just only. I said, no, I want to do it.
Yeah.
I want to do it. And I did. I spent fucking an hour or two, got it locked in, test printed it, shit hot, great. Sent him the results, pushed the job through, sent him the invoice. And he goes, man, there's no artwork time on here. I said, nah, not at all. Opportunity to learn. I learned. Now, if I had to do that same job again, I'd do it in 15 minutes.
Yep.
You know, and I said, if anything, I'm like thankful that a cool job came through that actually made me want to get better at that.
Yeah.
And he's like, man, you're being too modest. Just fucking add an hour or something on there. I said, no, honestly, I would rather you go and tell your mates that you got a good experience from me and then they come and buy more shit from me. This will all work out in the wash.
Yep.
Right? So I think having the capacity to understand that sometimes, especially, you know, you say year 5, how much more growing do I have to do? I haven't started yet.
Yeah.
I have all the growing to do.
Yep.
You know, I'm still responding to people at 3 o'clock in the morning who want a refund. I have all the growing to do, Carmelo. Trust me. You know? So I think it's like being able to recognize those moments as like, this isn't pain and frustration. This is growth.
Yep.
You know? It's the title of the podcast.
Yeah. It's wicked.
Unreal.
Man.
All right, Carmelo, you've done well.
Thank you.
3 hours and 41 minutes into the podcast. We're going to wrap it up there. All right, guys, be good to your mum because we are out.